Now, this is very confusing because, like, it's probably not for you guys, but I legitimately can't see anything now. What? I feel so alone. We're live? Oh. Hello? Oh! Hey, what is this fancy electric stick in my hand? This is kind of cool. Makes my voice sound like very omnipotent. Cool. How is everybody doing today? Everybody's doing good? That's awesome. But then, like, what the heck are you doing at a panel on mental health? That is not the purpose. No, I'm just kidding. Not good. Okay, well, that's honest. I'll say that. Does anybody even know who I am? Couple people, some people. Okay, for anybody who does not know me, I am DragonMightCosplays. Yes, I'm probably that guy you saw on Instagram, the cringy All Might cosplayer who cries. That's okay. I don't mind. I'm a grown man. I'll cry if I want to. A lot of people have this weird misconception that, like, crying makes you weak or that it's not okay to display those kind of emotions. That is not at all true, and we'll get into that later. But there's some very, very important things that I think we need to cover before we go anywhere. The first is that I do not care about a lot of things, and those things are, I do not care about your gender, I don't care about your age, I don't care about your race, I don't care about your sexual orientation, I don't care, especially don't care about your past. Your past does not define who you are. You get to decide who you're going to be. With all that being said, this message is for everybody, because everybody deserves to know they are loved, that they matter, and that somebody cares about them. We're all human beings. Let's treat each other with respect and dignity. I'm already choking up. If you came to watch me cry, you're in the right place. Okay, so I'm just gonna dive right in. I was told this is an all ages show, and I want to be respectful of that. However, I don't see any minors here, so I'm gonna kind of play it by ear. If I see kids come in, I might have to censor things a little bit, but I am gonna be sharing my story. And parts of my life have been pretty difficult, and hopefully it doesn't make anybody too uncomfortable. Also, I should mention, if there's anything that you would like me to talk about, I haven't done a lot of panels, can you tell? But I was told, I was asking for advice when I did this panel exactly one time before this, and everybody was like, wow, that was great, man, like, you really need to be speaking on this more, so here I am. But when I was asking for advice on, what do you do at panels? You got to talk for like an hour. How do I talk about myself for an hour? That's a lot. And people are like, no. There's going to be a lot of interaction. And I was like, okay. Feel free to ask me questions about anything in my life, guys. I am an open book. It took me a very, very, very long time to be comfortable speaking about this. But if my story can help anybody out there, I want to be there for you. With that being said, this is a very sensitive topic, so I don't think I'm going to be doing a whole lot of like, hey guys, by a show of hands, who's thought about committing suicide? People don't really want to admit that in front of a bunch of strangers. But a little bit about myself. I grew up in a pretty conservative home, very religious, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with religion. I want to state that. That is one of the things I don't care about. I don't care what your religion is. You're a human being. I love you. Legitimately, I love you. And if you need to hear that today, somebody does care about you. But I grew up in a pretty conservative home. And that kind of did not prepare me for a lot of things. When you're ever only told, like, don't do drugs, don't have sex, like that kind of thing, it's like, okay, well, what happens when we get there? When I was 16, I got kicked out, and man, that was if anybody out there has been homeless from a young age, my heart goes out to you. It's going to be okay. I'm still here. That's what my tattoo says. I am still here. But it was hard, I'm not going to lie. Me and my other friend, Jeff, who I miss dearly, he is not with us today. We used to hang out and, like, we knew it was going to be a good week when we went to the food bank and we got peanut butter, you know? Maybe that's not like a... People ask me, because, you know, obviously I dress as anime characters, and they're like, oh, like, you must love, like, One Piece or, like, this anime from your generation. And, guys, I never saw those. I was homeless. I never got to see One Piece, and to be honest, a lot of shonen anime don't really resonate with me, because it's a lot of, you know, power of friendship always wins. And, like, man, that was so not my experience growing up. But my friend Jeff and I, we managed to befriend somebody named Cecilia. And her dad was out of town a lot, so we slept in her walk-in closet. She had a really big walk-in closet, and we called it the orphanage. A lot of people use different coping mechanisms to make things in their life seem more okay. So humor for me has always been one. I try and crack jokes just to make things seem not so bad. So, you know, me and Jeff, like, we would go to the orphanage, and we'd go to the food bank together, and I want to say something, man. When you go and you, like, if you give donations to the food bank, like, think about how people are actually going to make food out of the stuff you put in there, because a lot of the time it was just not useful. Like, what am I going to do with this, like, you know, can of Spam? You know, like, that's, how do you make a meal out of, like, some of that stuff? A lot of it was, like, packaged foods, and there were times, obviously, when Cecilia's dad was home, so we couldn't stay there, and we would stay up all night in, like, I'm Canadian, so we'd stay up in Tim Hortons. It's 24 hours, so we could at least stay warm. But, like, we couldn't make food in there, so things that you can just, like, eat readily available, those are super useful. Just throwing that out there. But when I was 16, yeah, that was kind of my experience. And, of course, when life, if I'm being honest, just sucks that bad, you try to make it seem less bad. So I found these wonderful things called drugs. And you know, they let me escape reality for a little while. And, yeah, that was certainly a time. Still no kids in here? Okay. I just want to make sure. This might get a little graphic. I got very seriously addicted to cocaine and heroin. I'm very proud to say I am now 12 years sober. Thank you. But, yeah, at 16, at that point I think I was closer to maybe 17, 18. That was how I would kind of deal with the crushing reality that was my life. I would, obviously, and this is still true, I have never graduated high school. How would I? My problems were not, what grades am I getting? My problems were, can I afford a roof over my head? So I went, and I think my first job was McDonald's. Not a lot of places will, you know, hire a 16, 17-year-old kid, and I just needed money. And if you are in a hard place financially, man, can I ever relate to that. There is something so hard to deal with about just surviving, like just trying to get through, like not even paycheck to paycheck. I'm not proud of this, guys, but yes, I would steal food because, like, I gotta eat to live. I'm not saying that makes it okay. But that's what my life was like. I found something else that was kind of cool that let me feel a little bit better about myself in music. I learned how to play guitar. And I would write songs. And then, one thing led to another. I joined a band. That was cool. I actually got to do a lot of cool stuff. Not all of my life was bad. Some of it was really cool. I got to tour across Canada and the US. I even got to go to Japan on like a small tour. That was awesome. My single claim to fame is I had a song go to number 43 on the Canadian Billboard charts, which means nobody's ever heard of me, because, like, who listens to Canadian pop music from, 15 years ago? But that was kind of neat. However, playing in bands obviously comes with a certain type of party lifestyle. And things, I'm not going to lie, got a little worse for me in terms of dealing with substance abuse, because you're just kind of around it all the time. And it's what people want to do. Eventually, I met a woman who, again, no kids, was a sex worker, and we ended up being together for a few years, and we ended up getting married. And I'll tell you that story because it's kind of funny. We got absolutely wrecked one night. And I don't remember exactly what I said, obviously, but something about, like, getting married. And we woke up the next morning all hungover, and she was like, "Hey, last night when you said we should get married, like, did you mean that?" And the reason I remember this is my exact words were, "If you say yes, then I'm serious, but if you say no, then I'm joking." Guys, that's not a way to propose to somebody. And I also want to say, I have nothing against sex workers. I have seen firsthand what that can do to somebody, what it is like to have your entire value based on what you can provide to other people in that way. And it is, if you are stuck in that right now, I want you to know that you're worth so much more than your body. What you have inside, nobody can replace that. You are distinctly you. Just remember how important you are. So, surprise, surprise, that relationship didn't work out. We were incredibly toxic to each other. We were both very, very, very broken people. Abusive to each other. I remember we would get in fights, and I had spent like all the money I could scrape together to get her like a tiny crappy little ring. But still, like, it was all the money I had. And when we would get into fights, she would just like throw it. I remember one time we were driving down the highway and she just chucked it out the window. And then we had to spend that month's rent hiring somebody with a metal detector to go and find it. And that was a fun conversation with my landlord at the time. So, after we split up, because obviously that wasn't going to work out, that's when things really spiraled for me. Like, that was about a year after that was my rock bottom. I'll get there in a minute. But when you think... And obviously, this is not the case, but when you think you are committed to spending your life with somebody and you want to be with them and you think they're going to have your back through thick and thin, we did do the vows, for better or for worse, and all that. When that happened, I just didn't really know what life... I was 22 when we split up. I was like, okay, why am I here? Like, who am I? Why am I here? What is life? Like, is this really my life? I go, and I get messed up every weekend. And externally, like, don't get me wrong, guys, like, you probably would have thought I was, like, maybe not the cool person, but, like, yeah, I was the party animal that everybody wanted to hang out with, getting drunk every weekend, partying, doing cocaine, all the fun stuff, right? Like, that's the life. That's the dream when you're young, when you're a kid. Maybe not a kid, but you know what I'm saying. And I was just like, is this what I'm here for? And it got so bad that when I was 23, I gave up on myself. I didn't have a direction that I wanted to go in. I didn't feel like I had any value to provide to anyone. I had people around me that said they cared about me, but I didn't care. So I was drunk alone in my bedroom because I didn't know what else to do. Just whatever, get drunk. And forget about life for a while, and that really wasn't working. So I tried to force myself to overdose. I took everything I had, and obviously I don't really remember what happened, but what I'm told is my neighbor found me passed out on the sidewalk in front of my house and called an ambulance. And a lot of people never found out about this because my emergency contact was still my ex-wife, who obviously cared about me a great deal at that point. So my parents never knew, my friends never knew. Like, a lot of people just didn't find out about it. And when I got home after being discharged, I remember thinking, like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I don't know why I'm here. I don't really know who I want to be. But I do know that when I look at myself, I hate myself. Like, it's such a I don't even know how to describe it. To look at everything you are and be like, this disgusts me. I cannot stand the person that I am. And I don't want to be like that anymore. So that was 14 years ago. And as I mentioned, I've been drug-free for 12 years. So what I want to say is, don't expect change to happen overnight. It took me a very, very, very long time to find healing. I remember the last time I did drugs, because I knew I didn't want to. Like, let me put it this way. If anybody wants to, like, when you were a little kid, you just shout it out. When you were a little kid, what did you want to be when you grew up? Like an astronaut? Astronaut. Truck driver? Hero, hell yeah. Hockey player? Prime Minister of Canada, okay. You know what I didn't hear anybody say? Junkie. Like, guys, nobody hates themselves more than an addict actively dealing with their addiction. And if you are going, because I know this is being streamed, if you're going through that right now, I love you. And I hope you can love yourself. So it was my birthday, January 7th, and a bunch of my old friends were partying. They invited me over, and like, I hadn't made any new friends yet. Like, I wanted to turn my life around, but I didn't really know how. So obviously I still had, you know, the same social circles. And I remember going there, and my buddy had a bunch of Coke in a little baggie, and he scooped a key, and he was like, here, take this. Still making sure there's no kids around. Good. And I was like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. And he was saying, don't make me feel like I'm fiending. And so I did. I took that last little bump, and then I was like, why am I still here? Why am I still friends with these people? These people do not care about me. I literally just told this guy, I don't want to do this anymore. And he kind of like pressured me and forced me into doing it anyway. The hardest thing that I think some people may have to do, that I had to do, I'm speaking from my own experience here, was learn that the people I thought cared about me, that I thought were my friends, they didn't actually like me. They liked the circumstances we all found ourselves in together. And having to cut those people out, I can't even begin to describe how hard it is to basically say to all of your friends, we're not friends anymore. I don't want to hang out with you anymore. To cut your whole life. Everybody just wants to be loved. Everybody. I do. I'm still human, right? Everybody wants to be loved. And a lot of people try to find that love from people around them, from their friends, maybe their family, maybe a relationship, maybe through creating things, maybe through cosplay. You just want to be loved and accepted. So to just cut everything you knew from your life was the best thing I ever did, and probably the hardest. It was worth it, because now I'm here. And that was the last time I ever touched drugs. It was cold turkey after that, because I just, everybody's experience is different. I'm a living example of exactly what not to do, because this was 14 years ago. So if there were things like helplines out there, I didn't know about them. I couldn't afford therapy. I was broke, and I spent all my money on drugs. Sorry, this is pretty personal for me. But after being able to turn my life around, like I said, I've been now clean for 12 years. I have found a new life partner. She's now my wife for 8 years. After I thought I was way too broken to ever be loved by anyone, I have found new healthy habits. I started going to the gym, working out. Somebody said they wanted to be a superhero when they grew up. Yeah, man, me too, for real. Superman was my favorite as a kid. And one of the things that I decided when I wanted to make changes in my life was I want to feel happy about the way I look. I used to be, obviously, when I was doing a lot of drugs, I used to be really skinny, and then when I quit, I got really fat, like Michelin Man fat. And I was like, man, that's not who I want to be. I want to look like a hero. So I started working out. And here's what I hope people can learn from my story. No matter how bad things get, there is a reason for you to keep going. You just might not be able to see what it is. 14 years ago, I thought I had no reason for being here. It took me that long, 14 years, to go from, I want to end my own life, to, I don't think I want to do that, but I can't stand myself, to, I want to make change in my life so that I can be who I want to be, to making those changes and putting that part of my life behind me, to now being able to look back at that part of my life and understand that just because that's who I was, that's not who I am now, and being able to share that in the hopes that other people know that if I could do it, so can they. There's a lot of people that I miss dearly. I mentioned my friend Jeff and my friend Evan. Neither of them are alive anymore. And of course I wish they were. I hope that they can see what I've managed to do and be proud of me. If nothing I have said has been relatable to you, that's okay. I'm truly happy for that. I don't want anyone to go through what I did. And if you are, I want to help you. But if you're not, I want you to understand that there are people who are. Love always wins. And I wish there had been people that had been there to help me. Like I said, I didn't know about helplines. I did it the hard way. I did life on hard. I do not recommend that. Like I said, I'm an example of exactly what not to do. If you need help, please, please go and get it. I don't want you to be Jeff or Evan. I love you. Your life matters because everybody here, everybody has a reason for being here. Again, even if you don't know what it is, you'll find it one day. You'll find out why you're here, and you'll be glad you kept going. Everybody is unique. And I know, especially with social media now, and again, like I never had social media because I was broke. I don't know. I don't even know how, like everybody streaming, you blow me away. I could not figure that out in a million years because I grew up without technology. But everybody has a unique reason for being here. Maybe it is to be a streamer. It doesn't have to be, doing what I do. You don't have to dress up in a funny costume and, make videos on Instagram. But everything you do touches the lives of the people around you in ways that you could never know. I remember, shout out to Maddie, Mithril Cosplays. Met her a few years ago. She encouraged me to cosplay. I was really nervous about it. She was like, no, you should do it. And I was talking to her recently, and she said, encouraging you to do this has been one of the proudest things I've ever done. What you do is special. And Maddie, you're amazing. Without you, I literally would not be doing this. Guys, you have no idea that the tiniest bit of encouragement can touch people and change their lives in ways that you couldn't possibly imagine. You might walk down the street and meet somebody and just say, hey, I really like your outfit today. And they could have been having the worst day of their life. And just hearing a few words of kindness can put a smile on their face and change their perception of how that whole day is going. You have no idea. No idea. And that's why I said that if my story isn't relatable to you, that's totally okay. But I want you to understand that there are people who do go through this kind of thing. Choose kindness. Choose love. Everybody is doing their best to get through life. None of us know what we're doing. The older I get, the more I realize no one has any clue what's happening. But we're all doing our best to get through. Some of us don't have great ways of dealing with life. We turn to substances, or we take the lack of love that we feel for ourselves and we put it on people around us because we don't know how to handle those emotions. Show those people love anyway. There are going to be people who put you down in life. There are going to be people who lash out at you. And I know this is way easier said than done, but you have no idea what that person might be going through. I also wanted to just talk about, if anybody has any questions about my story, feel free to ask. But like I said, I know it's not exactly a topic a lot of people feel comfortable talking about. But I do get a lot of DMs on Instagram. And by the way, it's totally okay to if you just need somebody to talk to. I'm not a mental health professional, but I am somebody who cares. I may not be qualified to give you advice. And if a therapist or a counselor ever tells you something totally the opposite of what I say, listen to them. I just want you to know that I care about you and that I love you. Because everybody, from time to time, needs a symbol of peace in their life. I know I did. I'm very, very lucky to still be here. But one of the questions I get asked a lot is, mostly from younger people, about relationships. Hey, DragonMight, I just want somebody to love me for who I am. Man, I get that. But the thing about love is that it's kind of funny. If you don't love yourself, there is no external validation that will ever fill that void. I've been divorced. I know. And then I got remarried, and now we've been together for 8 years. When you don't love yourself, and you go to somebody and you say, hey, love me, I need you to tell me I'm loved, I need you to be there for me, you are placing an incredible and unfair burden on that person. Because everybody has bad days. No matter how much they love you, there's going to be times where they have to go, I need to take care of myself right now. I can't be there for you. And if you need that person to permanently be a crutch that holds you up, they are going to feel resentful, or you're going to feel resentful when they can't be there because they need a day or a week or some time to themselves. It is totally okay to want to be loved. Like I said, I'm only human too. I want that also. But if you do not love yourself first, a relationship isn't going to change how you feel. You're just going to spiral together. That's true of anything. That's true of friendships. That's true of business relationships. You know? The hardest thing I ever had to learn in my whole life was to love and accept myself for who I am. Because it's a really funny thing, you know, people always say, you know, strive for greatness. You can be who you want to be, and like that's all very, very true. But where you stand right now, you need to be able to look at yourself and say, I love me and accept me the way I am right now. And then you can start to make changes. That's been my experience. Like I said, I started working out because I wanted to be a superhero. And I got pretty jacked, I think, right? I've been working out for almost a decade now. That was one of the healthy changes I tried to make. I managed to quit drugs because this is something I will always, always remember. This was about a week before I tried to end my life. I was talking to somebody, and I remember telling them, I could quit anytime that I want to. I just don't want to. Because I had no love for myself. I had no reason to not be high. When I came down, there was nothing for me to live for. Because I didn't care about anything and care about anyone. And like I keep saying, most importantly, I didn't care about myself. I didn't respect myself enough quite frankly, to get my shit together. Sorry, that wasn't very plus ultra. I shouldn't swear. You get to decide the person that you want to be. Your past does not determine that for you. I know that better than anyone. I have done some truly, truly hurtful and horrendous things to people in my life that I will probably never, ever be forgiven for. And that's something for me to deal with. But I have been able to accept that I am not that person anymore. And that moving forward, I get to be the best version of me possible. So I want you to know that no matter where you are in life, if you're struggling, or if you've managed to move past that part of your life, whatever you've done, I don't care about that. Anybody holding that over your head, by the way, anybody holding what you've done in the past over your head, those people do not care about you. Not enough to matter. Anybody who loves you knows that everybody makes mistakes. Everybody. The only people who don't make mistakes are the people not doing anything. And that's no way to live your life. Try stuff. Try, fail, move on. Get up again. I was able to get up again. You can do it too. And as I always say, I want to leave you with one thing. This is my mantra. This is why I do what I do. If you need to hear this today, you are loved, you matter, and I care about you. Thank you.
No.
Don't all talk at once. Yeah.
We might as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I think there are more people coming. Oh, okay. A few more people coming, I think.
They can trickle in.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll be fine.
should be good.
Well, welcome everybody. We are members of UBCP ACTRA, voice actors, one and all. And we're here to discuss and talk and potentially answer your questions about what it's like, how it relates to streaming, performing in general. Let's start with, please tell us a little about your background. What drew you to voice acting initially? Did your college or university studies steer you towards voice acting? Let's start up this end. Yeah, and we will introduce as we go down the line.
As we go down the line? Love this. Hi guys, my name is Asia Matu. I kind of do a lot in the voiceover world. I've done everything. Mostly I do like animation and video games, but I've done some commercials, some audiobooks, stuff like that. I also do on camera as well. So kind of, you know, when you're in Vancouver, you might as well dabble in a little bit of everything. For me, I feel like my story is not super remarkable. I never kind of grew up thinking like, oh, I want to be a performer. I didn't put plays on in my house or anything. I used to draw a lot, and I actually thought I'd go into animation and be an animator. Yeah, and so after high school, when you kind of have that like, well, what the hell am I going to do with the rest of my life kind of thing, went to university. Originally was an archaeology major, and then I wanted to be like Indiana Jones. And then when I realized that was impossible, I'm like, well, maybe, yeah. And then I'm like,
I did that too for a year.
And then it was like, well, maybe I could be, but in a different capacity. And then I ended up, while I was at SFU, I started taking part-time classes at Vancouver Acting School. So I would do all my academics in the day, and then in the evening I would get into that, and then the ball just started rolling from there. And then I ended up, now I'm here, which is kind of a crazy, interesting thing. And that's the fun thing with, you know, as you're going to hear down the line, everyone's journey is going to be different. Like there's some that do come from a strict performing background, and that's their journey into it. And then there's some, like myself, that just kind of stepped into it, you know, product of the 90s. So grew up with a lot of, you know, like stuff on YTV, Disney Renaissance, stuff like that. So I think it was always kind of in like the back of my mind. But yeah, so that's kind of been my journey from then till now.
Thank you, Asia.
All right, I guess it's my turn. Hi, everyone. I'm Jonathan Austинall, Jono for short. So the way I got started was actually very much similar to Asia's. I didn't do a lot of, I did no performing in elementary and high school. Had a lot of stage fright. I hated reading in front of people, so irony. And then, I eventually graduated from SFU with a degree that's yet to be used in its capacity. And then, when I got my first big person job, I realized, hey, if I'm going to be doing something like this for the rest of my life, I'm going to try to, you know, use the opportunity to do stuff I always wanted to try. Acting was one of them. And then I was very, very lucky. The first class I took was at a place called Shoreline Studios with a very talented actor named Kirby Morrow. Amazing. And he was, honestly, it was the first time that I ever had fun in school. And that was just a big sign. I just kept on going with it, and I just had so much fun with it. I just kept on. I just wound up here with really, really awesome people. And honestly, best decision of my life. Can't speak highly enough about it.
Thank you, Jono. Hi, everybody. My name's Bill Newton. I thought I had a more traditional path and a common path to this sort of work, but we've had two people that didn't do that path. So I began putting on plays when I was a kid. My grandmother's knitting circle. She would do the knitting circle in a church on the weekend, and me and the other grandkids that were being watched would put on plays because we were bored and didn't care much about knitting. And from there it went to high school doing drama classes, and then university doing theater. No, so just sort of dabbling in university. The schools that I went to weren't really focused on the arts, unfortunately. One of them was, but I was not doing very well at that school, and then I went to an academically focused school which essentially meant little to no drama department. From there, I did a little bit of everything. I did a semester of archaeology. I'd also thought that I might want to be Indiana Jones, and then found out that you don't really get the opportunity to actually do that. No, I was going to say, so the part of Indiana Jones where he literally says, you know, it's not about fortune and glory and life and limb, it's about, you know, books and research, that is the true part. That's really what you mostly do. From there, I started to really get into the idea of doing voice performing, and realized that there really, at least at that time, there is no school for that. Like, the best you could do would be theater, and then potentially try to parlay that into something in voice. So I thought maybe I'd be a writer, and I wanted to work for BioWare based in Edmonton. And I came to study to Canada, and then realized that that company was not the company that it had been that I had loved. It was starting to change hands, and it was owned by EA at that point. So I changed tracks and went back to the theatre and performing side, moved to Canada from Australia, and it's been 15 years now. Just kind of trying to do it. Yeah, we're doing it. That's true. There you go. Doing it. And that, yeah, that's me.
Wow. She has her own microphone.
I have my own. Pardon?
You brought it from home.
I brought it from home in my backpack, which is here. I don't know why we need that set piece, but it's there. Hi, my name's Marika Hendricks. Marika rhymes with Jamaica, if that helps people. Thanks for coming to talk to us today. I always wanted to be a performer, so there's the first of that, I guess, here. I started taking dancing when I was little, and I eventually went to professional ballet school. I started acting professionally when I was a kid, and it's just sort of gone from there. Voice acting was something I became aware of as a possibility in your career when I was in my teens. And really was interested in it and just sort of kept kind of pushing. It's notoriously and fairly accurately a difficult area of the business to get into, and my agents were very resistant about that. And then eventually I was able to kind of convince them. And I think that's pretty much it. And here I sit, however many years later. It's crazy. This is really a career where it's a long game, in my opinion. And you have to have patience and a lot of stubbornness. And so I think probably all of us have some of that in us, for sure. Especially the stubborn part.
Yeah, no patience, all stubborn.
Yeah, maybe not. Anyway, that's a bit about me. Thank you.
All right, well, I'm Graham Hamilton. Graham like the cracker, Hamilton like the musical. And yeah, so I think I also discovered voice acting as a teenager. I had been a child actor since I was a baby. And just for whatever reason, I think like a lot of people, I didn't, I like never thought about the concept of how cartoons were voiced. Like I knew about like animation and stuff, and I guess I just thought the voices came with the drawings or something.
Like a record, you just put it on, it's there.
Yeah.
They
Even
just
though I
happen.
was an actor, I just didn't, it had never occurred to me until I was a teenager and I became a big fan of My Little Pony. And, but it was probably not the version that you know. It was an older version. And I became obsessed with one of the actors that I heard. It was the first voice that I ever heard that I was like, whoa, who is this person? And it was Tabitha St. Germain. They've all heard this story a million times. And then just randomly, I still think, and sometimes people get annoyed when I say this, I think she is the greatest living voice actor.
She's a genius. She's one of the
Yeah.
great living actors.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
really
Period.
good.
Absolutely. I've met and worked with two geniuses in my life, and she's one of them.
Yeah, yeah, she's phenomenal. I had good taste in voice actors. And just literally randomly, like the day after I Googled who was the voice of Minty, I ended up running into her because we had the same agent. We're in the same agency. We didn't have the same agent. And I met her like the next day and was like, whoa, like not only are cartoons voiced by actors, but they do it here. And they do it in, like, my agency has, like, the best one ever. So
It was a sign.
yeah, it was a sign. It was nuts. And then it's been just a nightmare ever since.
There is a honeymoon phase to this work, which is that you go from doing nothing,
Yeah.
and then you do a bunch because you're new, and people want to kind of work with you, and then everything sort of settles, and it's a real cold dash of water slap in the face.
Yeah.
Also, things like pandemics happen, which can really derail a career a little. Yeah. Yeah, we don't want to talk about what,
Yeah,
Netflix,
don't
what
complain
Netflix
about
has
streaming
done
at
to
the Twitch
everything.
convention.
But if Netflix, if you're listening, I am available to be in any animated projects you do. I would also wish that you would just stop. But I'm going to stop before I get blacklisted.
So I do have a question to the other panelists. Do we want to go down this entire list, or at what point do we want to open to audience questions?
How long do we have?
Hour and a half?
We have like 90 minutes, I think.
Yes. Okay.
Do you want to do some of these?
Yeah.
Okay.
And see if there's we can't see you, so yell if
Yeah.
you have a question.
we could probably ask for house lights if we need it.
Okay.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So maybe we could do a balance, and if there's questions, we can. Oh, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I was
Hi,
gonna say,
everybody.
Hey, how's it
Thank
going,
you.
everyone?
Thank you, stage manager.
Wow.
Look at all those lovely faces.
Do we want to reach out and see if there's a question already?
Right off the bat. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe so. And if there isn't, we'll just do our list.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, let's
Does
do
anybody
that.
have a question so far?
Raise a hand,
Does anybody
nice
have
and
a burning
high.
question? It's okay if you don't
That's okay.
yet.
Like we've got
Yeah,
a
we got a whole
page
bunch.
and a half.
We're
of stuff.
prepared.
We came ready.
If
We're gonna be here
something
until
if something comes up, hold on to it, and we'll be
Oh yeah,
happy.
look
to
at that.
Oh,
There's-
amazing!
You guys
Right
get your
over
very
there.
own microphone.
Look at that.
You
thank
guys are the
you.
reason why Asia doesn't get her own microphone.
See, that's
Asia
that.
I
donated
That's
her
that
microphone to
brony
you.
can professionalism that we know and love.
Yeah. So what I'm hoping is that the first person with a question,
Oh, here we go.
I was hoping they're going to come
Attaboy.
from right
Oh,
way
that
up there and have to walk
confident
down and
stride.
across.
And cracking the knuckles.
Oh,
Wow.
Hey guys, salutations. How are you?
good. How are
Doing
you?
great.
Good to see you again. Okay, so first and only question for now. Kind of on a serious note, how dedicated do you have to be? Like, if it's just something that you enjoy dabbling in from time to time, if it's something that really speaks to you. But you mentioned like stubbornness, right? What's the level, if you can gauge it?
You have to be a maniac.
Yeah, if you want to make it a career, no kidding, you have to be intensely dedicated. It's not the sexy answer, but there are going to be long periods where you will not book. It will seem like it's maybe you, but then you talk to your colleagues and they're also going through it, and they say, well, it's not happening for me either. There's big cycles that happen. Some are regular, some are like very strange, like we talked about the pandemic, like that just threw a wrench into everything. So there just has to be something behind all of that driving you so hard that there's nothing else that you can do except this work. And so that isn't to say, like, if you just want to kind of dabble and have fun with it, that you have to stop. It's just, if you wish for this to be a career, it's, as you said, you have to be a maniac.
Or like half a career? I don't know.
Come on
I
in.
mean, I think what
No.
you can kind of
It
decide.
can't be half a career.
You have a lot of control over like how you want to approach it, right? Like even like for me starting out, like I started out dabbling too, right? Like I would meet up with other creatives on, well, back in the day, like YouTube was the main place, but now there is Twitch, there is Discord, there's all these other places where you can link up with people. Even, if you take local workshops, there's a building of a community there as well, right? And so there's a way to kind of, if you want to do it and you find it as a fun hobby, absolutely. And then just like, Bill said, if you want to have it as a career, then there's other things you kind of have to consider. I love sports, particularly hockey, and I kind of apply it to that, right? It's like you can play hockey for fun, you can join a beer league or a rec league and have fun, but if your goal is to be in the NHL, well, then you kind of have to do some extra training. You got to, work with the best of the best and do what you can for yourself in order to kind of propel you. But
That's a good analogy.
yeah,
Yeah.
Sports.
Yeah, no, and it's you said it, and then Marika picked up on it, but it's the difference between hobby and career. And hobbies are great. Like, I have a bunch of hobbies. I like to paint. I like to stream on Twitch. But I know that I don't have the time or the energy outside of what I already dedicate to what I do to stream 5, 6, 7 days a week, do all of the promo, the collabs, the things that you need to do to make it a career. Which isn't to say that, I don't still do it, when I feel it, and when I'm working, I do it with my friends and things like that. But it really does come down to, hobby's fine, have fun with it. You can even sometimes get paid for it. But again, if it's career, like this pays the bills, is the thing that you do like day in, day out, it can't be a hobby anymore.
Yeah. And I'll just to quickly add on it too. It's just like anything else. Like if you want to be an engineer, well, you go to schooling to become an engineer, right? Or if you just have a fascination with architecture or anything like that, like you can appreciate it from afar and read some books. So just like anything you want to try to dedicate yourself in life, whether it's acting or something in the academics, the application is still very much the same.
I just want to say, though, that is all true, and I agree with all of it. But, assuming you're not in the union, you can try it out now, right? You get there's a Discord called the Voice Acting Club that I recommend to everybody. You can just Google Voice Acting Club. You can find it. You can join it right now. If you have you're at this Twitch event, maybe you are a streamer, maybe you have a good enough microphone to stream, you're probably set up if that's true for you. If it's not, don't worry about it. You can easily Google, get a Blue Yeti or whatever.
Sorry, Grant.
Get some kind of,
Or borrow my friends or something like that.
Sure, yeah. I mean, it depends on how long they'll let you borrow it for. But you could go and you could audition for a few things on Voice Acting Club. You can see them. They've got all the casting calls from all over Twitter and stuff. And you can try that, and I recommend that you do. You can it's good practice. What I always tell people is don't worry about especially when you're starting out. If it's a bad read, that's their problem. You just do the best you can and send it. Right? They have to listen to it. And then your next one will be better, right? The fastest way to get better is to actually do it and to not spend a million years on one perfect audition. Just do your best, send it, do the next one. So you can do that right now.
And I will say that's a great way to find out if you want it to be a career. You'll be trying it, you'll be doing it, and then if it feels like it's a slog and it's not as rewarding as you'd hoped it would be at a just a basic level, it only gets harder. But it's where you discover, I said, I did little plays, my grandmother's knitting circle, and I loved it then, and then all through high school and university, I would just muck around with my friends and do little short films and things, and all through it, I kept coming back to it because it was what just kept driving. So trying it out in any form of hobby or any space that allows you to is really, really good because it's where you discover, is that thing inside me that's going to drive it, or is it just for fun, which is also fine.
Yeah, art is for everyone.
Yeah.
It's art, yeah.
So whatever way you want to focus your participation in that is valuable.
Much appreciated.
No
guys.
worries. I didn't mean for us all to kind of go no, you're either a professional or you
But there's
quit.
a realism.
It could be a good reality check because I have met a lot of people who really have no particular interest in voice acting, but they're like, oh, that seems like a good way to make some money. And it's really not.
No, boy. Yeah. No. I
really not.
don't think about the money.
It's one of the worst ways.
Yeah. No. And so there's a site that I do not recommend joining anymore. And even at the time, it was a mixed bag. It's called voices.com.
I was going to say, I know
yeah,
what site.
yeah,
I know it's coming.
But there was a time in my career, actually during the pandemic, when I was I was a low-tier heavy hitter on voices.com, and that's how I paid the bills. And I did 100 auditions a day, right? And it was grueling. And the reward for doing that was being able to pay my rent and get Mr. Noodle instant. It wasn't
That was my start.
Yeah.
I have the exact same story, which is that when I moved here, I got a day job, but it was barely enough shifts, and I wanted to try to get practice and I was on, I think it was Voices 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
But like it's much
and
of a much.
Pepsi.
It's basically the same site. But same thing. And I remember telling people, I looked once through my audition like folders from back in 2013, 2014. And yeah, it was upwards of 75 to 100 auditions a day.
Yeah.
Because you're just sitting, looking and going, oh, I could probably do that. And man, you go back and you listen to some of that stuff. It's important to hold on to old auditions for that reason, because you will see how far you've come. I listen to that stuff and it's the cringiest I've ever felt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So
But it can pay the bills. But think about it, 100 auditions a day. That's recording time, script reading time, editing time. That is not worth it. It's really not, just to maybe pay the
And I
bills.
wasn't farting them out. Like, I was trying, right? Like, I wanted to do a good job. Because that's the thing, like, if you are treating it like a hobby, you are going up against people that are taking it very seriously. You're going head-to-head with them, right? And so, now, that said, like, it's kind of like professional gambling. So occasionally you will find someone with no training, no experience, who is just amazing, and that happens. But are you willing to bet your career on that being you? Right? It's probably not. Odds are you would need training. And hilariously, like, you were just asking me about some things about voices.com. I actually took classes specifically in voices.com. I took like 3 because there's a secret OTM class. Yeah, there's actually 2 secret OTM classes that I don't know if they still do it, because voices.com is kind of
Hot gossip.
it's become
I remember those years ago. Yeah. They were
it's
offered.
more dangerous to do voices.com now, because they will use your audio to train AI models off of your voice, and you're agreeing to that as part of it. So like, that was the thing. We actually we were in the same Discord talking about it when I think Brian and I like went through the process of getting everything deleted off of voices.com, because there was like a brief window, but now that's gone. So now I don't recommend doing voices.com, and it's even worse than it was at the time. But yeah, VAC is
is
not that. Voice Acting Club is phenomenal. Nothing to do with voices.com.
It's far more community-based, and it's a great place to, like we were saying, just like try it out.
Founded by Kira Buckland, voice of 2B in Nier Automata.
Oh, no way.
Does anybody else have any questions?
I was going to say,
Bill of questions.
let's do
Thank
a...
you.
Oh,
Thanks, guys.
never mind. Thanks.
Welcome.
Hello, thank
Hi,
you very much.
what's your name?
Hi, I'm Carrie.
Carrie?
Carrie.
Very nice to
to
meet
see
you.
Nice to meet you too. So I'm working as an actor already. I have an acting agent. You can hear the British accent, right? So every time I'm on set, fellow colleagues, acting colleagues say to me, oh, you should really try voice acting. And I've done one narration, which I really loved doing. It was lots of fun. My question is, do I need a separate agent for voice acting?
Who are you with?
I'm with Lisa Feist from Alpha Artist Management.
So there are only a few agencies in town that have dedicated voice departments.
Right.
There are a lot of agencies that will have an agent on their books that will do voice, but there's only a few that have fully dedicated voice departments. And I
Right.
would say that if you wanted to pursue voice specifically, it might be better to do that. A lot of people will have 2 agents. They'll have an on-camera, they'll have a voice separately. If you're lucky enough to already be repped at one of the agencies that has a voice department, then you can keep it all in-house. But I would say it's worth looking into a separate agency that specifically has a voice department. Off the top of my head, I'll just say the big 3 are Characters, LLA, and Red.
Lorien Lovett and Associates.
Yes, LLA, yep. I mean, I will also say, like, have that conversation with your agent as well,
Yes.
because you don't want, because if they, in the caveat, they rep you for everything, you can't go out and get representation for something else locally when they have that jurisdiction in whether it's Vancouver or all of Canada. So I'm represented by Red for voice specifically, because my agent only deals with voiceover. They do have an on-camera department, but when I was submitting, Trisco Talent wanted me for on camera. So now for anything on camera, actually even including mocap, so anything I'm in front of a camera, Trisco represents me for, and then anything voiceover rise, Red represents me for. But that's because, you know, there's clear boundaries that way, and everyone's kind of staying in their particular lane. So I mean, I do know because of COVID, there was even like a rise of some agencies now wanting to have a voiceover roster and stuff like that too.
A lot of agencies
It
panicked
exploded. So that would just be a conversation to have, just to be on the safe side, because you don't want to then, you know, get a nasty phone call or something like that if you have a good relationship with your agent already.
Yeah.
So yeah, just kind of set those parameters, and then you can kind of see what options there are for you out there.
Yeah, great. Thank you. I already have had the conversation with my
Fantastic.
agent, and she's a very small boutique agency, so she was like, "Oh, well, we could try."
Okay.
But the other thing she said to me was, "You need really specific equipment and really specific software." Is that
That's
If-
only kind of true.
If you're going to try to work from home, yes.
okay?
But if you are working in town, whereabouts are you based, by the way?
In Metro.
Oh, okay,
Vancouver,
great.
yeah.
Perfect.
Almost all of the studios and all of the clients that you would work for will record out of a professional studio that you go to.
Right.
So the recording from home, you will want a level of equipment because your audition will need to sound good. It used to be, and it's still true if they already know who you are. There are stories everybody has of just like, oh, I was away out of town or I was rushed and I recorded on my phone and it sounds crap, but yeah, or exactly, I'm outside, but I still booked the job. That is less common than it used to be.
Yeah.
They will kind of, because look, there's a bit of a joke in the entertainment industry that casting has the least imagination of any department, which is ironic.
It's true.
But they will sort of want it to sound exactly how it's going to sound in the booth. So if the better the equipment that you have, that's great. It doesn't need to be bank breaking, but decent enough. If you have a closet that has clothes in it and like a fairly decent USB mic, you can actually get it to sound pretty good.
Yeah, the space is the most important thing. Like even if you have an area that's mostly like hardwood, if you put down like even a rug,
Cheap, cheap IKEA rug.
yeah, closet,
Towels.
clothes, things like that. I use GarageBand as my recording. I mean, I know a lot of people they'll use like Audacity, Reaper, Pro Tools, things like that. But that's kind of has been my setup.
Yeah,
And
if you can.
Audacity, oh, sorry, I was going to say Audacity is soon going to be very good because they've been like working on like behind the scenes, like working on Audacity and all this stuff, and they're working on a new audio engine, which from everything I've seen, like the previews, will make it comparable to something like Cubase and totally free. And so like Audacity, it currently isn't like that. The problem with Audacity is that it's a lot of times it's very hard to monitor.
Yes.
Like it'll be
Right.
laggy, and so you got to just take your headphones off, record, and then listen to it again. But whenever that Audacity 5 comes out, that'll be taken care of, and then there will be literally no reason to get anything fancier than that.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
May I ask one more question?
Of course.
The other thing I'm interested in is I'm not in the union yet because I've only got one credit, so I haven't joined yet. But is the voice acting union credits, do they count towards the same
Yes.
joining?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Right.
I would recommend, and this is something where I like being just fully honest with people, don't rush to join.
Yeah.
People will tell you that, and like we are in the union, we're representing the union, but it would be disingenuous and dangerous of us to say, join the union as quickly as you can. Because if you don't have enough experience or just being known by people in town, like I said before, you know, if they know who you are, you can get away with a bad sounding audition because if the intention's there, they can go to bat for you and say, oh, well, I know this person, they've been working for, 10, 15, 20 years, so I know it'll be good based on just what I'm hearing. It doesn't matter about the quality of the microphone. If you don't have a lot of those things helping you, the danger is that you'll join when you get the credits and then they won't know you well enough and it will take years to build that. And in that time, you can no longer work on non-union projects, which might help bring the experience level up.
Right.
So I never tell people to rush to do it. If they're already experienced, they're already feeling ready. I was in a situation where I was working on a union cartoon but because of my immigration status, I couldn't join the union yet because I was a permanent resident but not a citizen, and that's not allowed. Actually, sorry, it was before I was permanent resident. I had work permits, but I wasn't permanent resident, and that's what was needed to join the union. So I was paying permit fees on a cartoon that I was on every single time, over and over and over and over, and it was thousands of dollars.
Those really add up.
Yes.
They really do add up. So that's also an indicator. If you don't have that problem, if you're a citizen or a permanent resident and you are working on something union long enough that the permit fees, you actually can't even do the situation I was in anymore because you have to, after a certain number, join.
And is it still 3
Yes.
Yes.
credits for acting and voice together?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and so what I would say is that think about the frequency of how quickly they came. If they were really spaced out, it might not be time to do it yet.
Right.
If they came all at once, like you're hot right now, and they're just like, yes, you are union ready, that's when it can be an indicator if it's time to join.
Okay.
So yeah, I would say that it's definitely worth joining, but it's good to be ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Also,
thank
I
you
don't-
so much. Oh, go on.
Well, I was going to say, I don't know what kind of arrangement you have with your agent, but like mine, I think most of us, like now that we're in the union, the options for things like voice acting club are sort of almost entirely gone. But in your position, not being in the union, you have an agent, you've talked to them, they've sort of given you the indication that they're not really prepared to represent you for voice. You're a great candidate for the VAC.
Okay.
And to go and get your own gigs, and at least certainly in my opinion, like my arrangement with my agent, if I do get myself a gig, they're not taking a cut of whatever I get myself. Now, as a union member, I can't. That happens very rarely.
Yeah.
But when
Flip
I was,
it, Graham, flip it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I find actually in VAC there is the occasional SAG gig.
On occasion, yeah.
And stuff like that. So occasionally they are in there. But for all the non-union stuff, so the obvious examples are like Has Been Hotel, The Amazing Digital Circus. There are these like big mega hits that are non-union internet shows, right?
To start with, and then they get bought by Amazon, and they hire, and
There
then
you
they
go.
get rid of
Yeah.
all the people, or they Taft-Hartley them in sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it means that you missed your chance to begin with, and then it's too late because, it already happened. And that's
Yeah.
always frustrating.
Great. Thank you so much.
No worries, thank you. Great questions.
Yeah.
Should we do a piece of... Oh, no.
Nope, we have
Come
more.
on.
We
I was
have
going to
more,
say,
by all means.
we don't need this. I'm going to put that there.
I am curious though, just for a show of hands, how many people in here are Twitch or some other kind of streamer?
Heck yeah.
There you go. Okay.
And who is, don't be ashamed, who is not?
Yeah, it's like
half and half.
50-50.
Okay.
That's a good split.
All right. There's a good Twitch-specific question next. If I'm sure people have questions, and we will definitely get to yours right now. But I reckon there's a good Twitch one in here that we will talk about, just because it is Twitch Vancouver.
And it's pretty much the same kind of microphones are good for both. Well, not like a headset, but
Yeah.
if
A dynamic
if your stream
condenser
sounds good when you
microphone.
talk,
Yes.
you can probably audition for voice.
True. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Kiara.
Hi, Kiara.
Very
Hi,
nice to meet you.
Kiara.
Nice to meet you. I was wondering, what is the process for getting a voice acting agent?
Oh, okay. So, you want to go?
Just project.
What did you do, Jono?
Okay. Here's
What did you do?
what I did, and I'm not sure if this has changed all that much. Basically, when you go agent hunting, you usually want what are called two reels, demo reels of stuff you can do. If you Google this, you will find tons and tons of info. I went with animation and commercial because that's what we do in Vancouver mainly. Usually reels should be, conventional knowledge used to be a minute 15 to like a minute 30.
Okay.
Nowadays, usually people want like a minute just so they can go through all the voices, keep it curated. And then you basically send those out to agents. Again, way back when you would be like an actual disc. Now it's all MP3.
I still have my first CD demo.
Same. I know. It's just like I have
It's so bad.
it's like I have a bunch I got pressed. I'm like, I don't want to throw them away, but these are effectively useless now. Anyway, so the thing with agencies too is that when you submit, there's a very good chance you may or may not get a reply. That's not on you. Agencies will basically have their books open at different times, and there's no rhyme or reason as to when. You actually explained this really well.
Oh, I was going to say, so agencies open their books at different times. They will sort of fill their rosters to where they feel they're capable of servicing the number of people that they have without overloading the roster, which, look, I have representation in the United States, and my agency down there has, I think, 300 people. And I know that there are multiple agents at the agency. It still feels like too much. My agency here, I actually don't know, but I get to talk to my agent 3-4 times a week. Whenever something comes in, we can have a chat. When I go to pick up a check, I drop into the office and we talk. It's much more hands-on, which I find a lot better. But they do get, from the smaller, like, boutique agencies to, you know, the big ones in town to, you know, the monster ones in the United States, they all get inundated with, you know, submissions. And so it's very common for you to sort of, you know, kind of put your heart out there, and it's really tough. I remember doing it. I remember it so well that you put together the demo and you feel like it's really good. It's like the best representation of what you can currently do. And you write a little, you know, sort of cover letter type email, and you say like, hey, I'd really love the opportunity for you to hear this. And then you don't hear anything. And you immediately want to say, oh, they must have hated it so much they don't even want to respond. And there's more likely chance that they just didn't see it. It's just they got 50 emails that day. And sorry, I'm not getting choked up because I'm sad. Throat's just dry.
It's a very emotional
Still
topic.
traumatized a little bit.
So that happens a lot. But yeah, what you want to do is you want to put together a demo. As Jono said, 90 seconds max, probably a minute. I would say 7 or 8 voices.
Okay.
Do not put 2 voices back to back that sound kind of similar. Try to show as much range as you can, but don't push it. So like, don't go like, you know, I'm gonna do one of these voices, one of these voices. Just whatever you are naturally quite good at. They can be pretty similar. Just don't stack everything together. Edit it a lot faster than you think you need it. So have like 5 seconds, and then bang, almost like DJ crossfade, like. Just, yeah, I was going to say, like, straight to, yeah, that's actually better. So, like, it's like you're flipping a channel on the TV. So go like, okay, 5 seconds, next. Because an honest agent or producer who's listening to it or casting, they say they listen to all of it. It's not true. You've got about 10 seconds, if you're lucky, to hook them into listening to the rest of it. So put your best stuff up first. And then that's your best chance at them going, okay. And don't worry about it being perfect, especially if you're at the agent hunting stage. Because what you're trying to do is show the agent that you have potential. And the agent will listen, and you could be very green. There might be no professional work on there. It might be everything that you've put together and maybe edited yourself. They're just looking to hear something that they either don't have already or feel like they can work with to develop, because that's their job as well, is they want to start to develop you and build a career with you. And that's the goal. They're not like, I'm sure a lot of them would be happy if they could get you fully made and fully ready and just like ready to go out there and slay it, but they know that that's not their job. So, yeah.
And the best thing too is that if you go online, like even if you look up like where we are all represented, if you go on their website, you'll get access to like a whole like vocal library of their roster. Yeah.
Casting Work with Voice has a bunch of voice demos. Oh, sorry. Casting Work with Voice, if you Google it, it'll basically just a giant database of like voice demos. We're all on there. People from the States are on there, so you can listen and just take inspiration.
That's Casting Workbook Voice.
Yeah.
Workbook.
And it's great because you can also see like what level your demo needs to be at too, in a sense. Like, yeah, like just kind of echoing what Bill says. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it'll at least show the level that it needs to be at, and you can also hear who's on their roster. And so that's not to say you want to cast a wide net, But then you can have that expectation where if you hear there's another actor that maybe sounds similar to you, you can have that expectation of, okay, like if I get on this roster, there is a likelihood that maybe this person might be sent out. Like I got a lot that me and Kathy Westluck sound very similar. You know, she's
hear it.
amazing. Spike in My Little Pony and a bunch of like her
Do you
huge
have Spike
IMDb.
impression?
Yeah, but so that was something in my head. I was like, okay, I gotta, you know, if she's already out there like killing it constantly and has like a proven track record, you know, I have to be either at that level or exceed it, and also maybe be in an agency where, okay, like I want to go out for the same things as her, and there could be a likelihood that she'll always get first up because she has built up that amazing reputation. So there's a bit of a strategy to everything as well.
Yeah. I will just sort of expand on a couple of points you made. One is, if you're already inspired by certain performers that you know from projects that you're big fans of, it can be good to find out who represents them. Not that you would necessarily be represented by them, because if you feel that it's maybe somebody that, as Asia said, is very similar to your voice print, or that you are currently doing voices like them because of the inspiration, it can be difficult to then, you know, get picked if you did get repped by them. But it's good to kind of find out where everybody's represented, because it can be a guide of like, okay, well, that seems like a reputable place to be represented. Because if it's somebody that's, you know, a big star, or even just somebody who you're a big fan of who isn't necessarily a big star, that can give you an idea of like, okay, well, they get the sorts of roles that I would like, not necessarily the exact same characters or voices. But if you see their name come up a lot in the stuff you love, and that's what you would like to do, that can be a way to kind of find a place that is at least getting the auditions for those.
And sorry,
Yeah.
I was wondering, would casting workbook voices, is that what you said? Would that be where I would look for to see not only demo reels, but also where these people are represented?
Yeah.
Are they? Yeah, they've got rep on there.
I think it's,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
it's actually, yeah,
Oh, okay.
it shows the, yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then one more thing. You mentioned commercial demos versus animation demos. Animation demos I'm more familiar with. What's the process for commercial demos? Like, how do you even, it's not like you're doing different
Steal an
voices
ad.
for them.
Like it's even,
Yeah.
yeah.
I like to
Okay.
get magazine ads too.
Magazine ads are great because they're usually written in like flowery language, and you can just be like, you know, obsession.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
like,
but like same idea, a minute.
Exactly,
90
yeah.
seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
It's
you want,
easier
like,
to cut them too, because it's just
different kinds of commercials, right? Like you might have
Okay.
like a PSA or like a sad
Right.
thing, and then like a happy thing, a conversational thing.
different kinds of reads.
Where
and,
did you get that hat?
and for commercials too, I mean, I find this a lot easier just to steal copy and then tweak it to fit your own purposes.
yeah, you can just change the brand name, and it's a whole different thing.
And then final question: if you have singing training, should that be
Yes.
A separate
and
demo.
or if you are bilingual?
I would say if you have enough to make a separate demo, that's amazing.
Yeah. Okay.
You could weave it into the animation. I wouldn't put it in the
Yeah.
commercial,
Oh, yeah, no.
just because they tend to hire like session musicians for it. Like I remember years ago, there was one that was great. It was a McDonald's commercial, and they had a guy who in the Scratch. So Scratch is when they send you an example that they've got of someone doing the music, and it was this like really high voiced, I'm not even gonna try to do it or I'll shred my vocal cords, but it was the classic like hair metal, really high pitched thing. And the scratch track sounded great, and I spent 2 hours like trying to get what I thought they wanted, and heard nothing. And then I heard from a friend whose partner works at the studio where they did it, that they just ended up hiring the scratch guy. So that's why I say the commercial one I wouldn't necessarily worry too much, because they do tend to just go like, well, we've got session musicians that we hire for that. Animation, though, it's a huge, huge plus. If you were going to weave it in, if you can get enough together for a separate one with a lot of different styles
Yep,
and
probably
ranges, that's pretty cool. If you want to weave it into a demo, I would weave it into the animation demo.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really good for kid stuff because we do a lot of
Oh,
like,
yeah.
kids
Yeah,
TV.
definitely.
So like even if you had like a character it just sounds like, okay, yeah, she has bars, then perfect.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Ooh, cool kid lingo.
She got bars.
And does it matter if, for the singing part, if you're doing a separate demo for it, would it matter if you were using existing songs?
Oh no,
No.
I mean, yeah. All of my samples that I send to clients is just me doing covers of
Okay, cool.
songs.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I mean, if you have any original stuff, that's better.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're doing demos, there's never any problem about copyright infringement. If
Oh, I
something's
thought you
for
meant no copyright, like don't do anything copywritten. Don't do any. It's not going out for any public performance
Yeah.
or anything like that. It's just being played for casting. So whatever song you've got, like if you kill something at karaoke, do that.
Awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Let's the Twitch question. Sorry, we're just going to do one from the thing, and then we'll definitely get to another one, just because I want to make it specifically Twitch. Here we go. As Twitch streamers, can you tell us how this work is similar or dissimilar to your voice acting work? Graham, let's start with you.
It's not similar at all.
All right.
Not really. I mean, so
Elaborate on that.
well, no, well, I'm not. So I'm a VTuber, so I'm not myself. But I guess you could say like some junior VTubers make the mistake of having like a character voice or whatever the whole time, and so this happens with voice as well. If you're doing a voice like a animation demo, don't include anything that you can't sustain for hours.
Oh yeah,
Right?
that's a.
Yeah.
If you've got like a great, I used to do Dr. Claw from Inspector Gadget. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Next time, Gadget.
Yeah.
I can only do that for about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Now, Frank Welker could do it for hours, but I knew that I was never going to try to include anything like that because immediately, if it hurts
Yeah.
or you feel it like, messing with your vote, do
Don't.
not do it. Because you will book the session where they go, okay, so we've got 2 hours of this character and we need you to do that the whole time.
Yeah.
And it's not like you don't have to throw the voices away. Like you can have little incidental characters.
Yeah, like just there.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, like 1 or 2 lines or whatever. Although then like maybe they're gonna make a whole episode exploring that character. And then
Oh,
you'll-
boy.
Oh,
That's
cross that
happened
bridge
with
when you get there.
accents as well. Like I know
Yeah.
a friend of ours who wasn't sure with a German accent, and he just sort of did something, and then 2 seasons later, that character got a whole episode,
Yeah.
and he panicked because he was like, I can't do a German accent.
I have to reverse engineer whatever I did. For
Yeah.
like 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's like the rule I was given was basically it's like if you don't think you can maintain it for a show,
Yep.
like the run of a show,
Yeah, like multiple episodes, seasons. Yeah.
don't.
So what I'll say is that as far as Twitch goes, my improv training has been the most effective.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yep, same.
Because I do think a lot of Twitch streamers starting, and not just, I assume this applies to Rumble as well, or whatever godforsaken place you want to stream.
What is
But
Rumble? I'm so out of
Don't-
the loop.
Don't bother.
Okay.
It's worse than Kick.
Okay. How is that possible?
Well, there's Cozy TV. Oh, okay. That one's founded by Nick Fuentes. So don't, if you stream there, don't tell me. But, though I don't think they have any VTubers, so maybe that's a emerging
A burgeoning market. Let's go.
racist VTuber. Anyway, so point is that like I think a lot of beginner streamers, and all you guys will have seen this, right? Is that they're streaming and they're dead quiet. They're just playing a game or whatever, like you do when you're on the couch. Just whatever, and they're waiting for someone to come into chat, and that's a terrible thing to do. Just keep talking. Just keep talking.
Yeah.
Pretend that there's an audience. Pretend there's people there.
Imagine that you're monologuing to someone.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
viewers, when they come into your stream, they want to feel like they're coming into the best party in the world. It's
Yep.
happening right now, and thank God they just got in, right? And so improv has been good for that.
Yes.
And like some of those weird like Meisner acting techniques of like just like random words or whatever, word association.
Stream of consciousness.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say one vocal technique that I think, and it's not even really like a specific exercise, but just getting used to yapping for multiple hours. Like I've watched people who aren't trained in any way and are maybe new to streaming, and you can see after an hour or so, their voice is starting to shred and fade. And it's something that I guess just comes, it's like any kind of athlete, which is that we get used to speaking a lot for a long period of time. And so our vocal cords are in shape, so we don't have to worry too much about it. So I would say that like just practicing talking more out loud, like, you know, if you read out loud, because the more you are reading out loud and just speaking for long extended periods of time, that's really useful if you're doing what Graham's saying, which is that you want to be yapping all the time. Like I always, whenever I'm streaming, I keep thinking of that scene in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia where they're doing the radio show. Danny DeVito is just dead air, dead air. You don't want dead air, if possible. It's okay not to yap all the time, but as Graham said, like if you don't already have an audience, the people that are dropping by will want to see you already like having a cool chit chat at the party, as opposed to waiting for somebody to, you know, come out of lurking. So being able to just yap and yap and yap and yap is really, really valuable.
And I do vocal warm-ups before I start.
Yeah.
You know, like all that stuff.
But I would say the improv that you mentioned, like
You're
honestly,
judging my warm-up.
the improv training, I would say, if you have a chance, it's not the be-all, end-all. I tell people this all the time. For almost 10 years, improv became just the magic sauce that, you know, made you a better actor, and I don't think that's true. I think it's very useful, but it's a tool in the tool chest. I think it's a really valuable tool for something like Twitch as opposed to a scripted, you know, animated project or something. A lot of the time in a scripted project, they don't want you to improv. Maybe a little, but they wrote that for a reason the way they wrote it, and they'll actually get mad at you if you go a little too hard. I've heard some colleagues and friends down in the States when there was the big boom of improv, a lot of producers would be really close to firing people for just riffing and vamping and just changing the intention of the character. But when it comes to Twitch, it's all you usually, if you're not collabing with people. So it can be really, really useful to just taking something that chat says, turning it into a bit, riffing on it for a while. Even if you're collabing with someone, like, you know, just riffing back and forth, making jokes, things like that. It's really good for training a reactive, quick part of your brain that is very useful whether you want to be a voice actor, a Twitch streamer, any kind of performance. It just means that you can react in a situation where you've got nothing really to go on. Yeah,
actually, that's a really good point, too. I guess one thing that has helped is that as you're developing as a voice actor, I think we've all seen a lot of like beginner voice actors in the booth at different classes and stuff. And one thing, I don't know if this will make sense, one thing that people often forget to think about is like 3D space, is how far away their character is from who they're talking to, or whatever.
How tall is the cliff that you're falling off?
Exactly. Yeah. And so
are we inside? Are we outside? Yeah.
Yeah. You do build this muscle of being able to imagine, right? That you're talking to someone that's way over there, or you're sneaking up, or somebody snuck up on you, or whatever, or you're like flying in the air above someone. And that, I don't use that in my stream. That would be a pretty entertaining stream if I did. But
that's going to be expensive VTube rig.
Yeah.
Flying.
But like being able to sort of, I don't know, to act through the microphone rather than
theater of
the
mind.
Yeah.
Yes, being able to create imaginative performances it's fundamental to everything we do, and I think it's really, really useful for Twitch as well, because, you know, like what I like to do when I stream is if I'm playing something that has, you know, RPG elements and people are talking, I love to dive in and be the characters and just, you know, make them up as we go. If there's action, you know, suddenly we're in the heat of it and we're doing it and all that sort of stuff. So you really are trying to bring that level of the game to life for your stream. And even if you're just, you know, interacting in kind of, you know, stream of consciousnessing, even if it's just a just chatting stream, then it's still useful. Yeah. Friend with the Beanie.
Yes.
Please come down.
Welcome. Thank you for
waiting.
Thank you for letting us ask ourselves some questions.
Bye, guys.
All right, so I have some questions for you guys. Okay,
Yeah.
that's not my voice.
What was your name, by the way?
That's not my voice at all, anyways. Name's Simon, or go by Beef6. Did have a question, because I do a little bit of like indie movie acting and did some background and stuff, and I know a lot of other actors that's been doing that type of stuff, not haven't done any voice acting or anything, right? Well, I'm just wondering what kind of viable of a career it really is, because I know a lot of people who've been doing verticals, like the dramas and stuff, and they were big for a while, and then in the last few months or so, it's kind of dried up the opportunities because of AI. And a lot of AI vertical dramas and stuff like that has been popping up on the internet, and a lot of the actors stopped getting opportunities. They were getting like 5 or 6, and now they're down to like none. So I'm wondering, because of all those things like 11 Labs and a lot of these really good voice cloning type of companies, and you're talking about voices, and they're taking your voices and just using them to do that kind of thing, right? Like, I'm just wondering what kind of future there is for voice acting. Like, is it just gonna?
Oh, I can tell you. I know what there is. Oh yeah, it is. It's going to be fine. So the thing about verticals was that verticals were often from the beginning written by AI. So they already started from a place where it sucked, honestly, and it wasn't like super creative. And then they were essentially getting people who weren't working much, just because there's always downturns in the industry. There was a lot of factors economically that meant that there was a lot less work. So verticals became a thing that everybody was just like, oh my God, it's saving us. So they got a lot of people on, but effectively, because it had been written with this almost like dearth of creativity, you were getting people that were kind of glorified puppets. And that meant that, that was only going to last a certain amount of time. I knew verticals wasn't going to last. I remember people going like, it's the future. And it's not being borne out that way.
There's one specific person in Vancouver that kept saying that over and over.
Yeah, I know. And so this sort of became an issue, because it was built from a very surface level place. So I was not surprised when I heard that, like verticals were being largely AI replaced. You talked about the voice cloning technology. It's good at recreating the sound of a voice, but it cannot and never will, and I know I'm sounding like, it'll never, it's just a fact of how it works. It cannot give any intentionality. So the voice that is cloned and created can't draw on a memory, can't find an emotional place that, gives that performance weight. So I have been saying for 4 years now, when people, because like AI started to come around then, back, when it was like Will Smith eating spaghetti and it was all crazy and it looked ridiculous. And then what was that one where all of our pony characters got put on?
Oh, Sona? I think Sora?
No, before that. No, this is years ago. There was one, I forget what it was called. Anyway, a lot of our My Little Pony characters got put on the website, and it sounded like trash. It didn't sound good. But it was always, it felt like a sort of an experiment in technology rather than creativity, which is all right. I wish you didn't illegally steal my stuff to do it, but that's okay. I don't think it will ever, it can't. It does not have human experience, and so it can never give a human performance to connect with humans. It can say the words, and they might even be able to say, like, sounds sad here, but that's not the performance. That's, Mad Libs. That's, cutting stuff together. So I think Sora's dead. You mentioned Sora. Sora's dead. Sora, I remember being sent around group chats that I had been in, and friends of mine, not even our group chat, just like multiple. Yeah. And a friend of mine who is an on-camera performer primarily, but does a lot of voice, and he works all the time, and he was very scared. He would send me reels going like, look how good it is. And I would say, buddy, don't worry about it. This is nothing. And Sora's dead now. So I'm not worried at all. I think it has done what it is doing, which is that it is disrupting a lot of the industry, because I think that a lot of money is being taken away from projects that would have been funded and being put into this. And I know that when the bubble pops, as it is starting to, it is going to really decimate a lot of the industry as well. But as a craft and as, an art, I think it's fine.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, it's just, I think the biggest thing, and we actually spoke about this earlier, was that there are quite a few people who basically seem to want to give up before it began, saying, oh, we can't put the genie back in the bottle, and basically just rolling over. I'm like, no.
It's here, get on or get left behind.
No, absolutely not. Like, that kind of
we can choose to fight it at every stage, and I do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, don't just roll over. I mean, come on. You know, it's just like, oh, actually here. Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, like everyone said, it's not going to be able to replace, you know, like that sudden spark of inspiration that basically catapults a read from going what's on the page to basically making it leap off the page, because, you know, the actor made a choice that was formed through you know, days, months, years of collective experience. I mean, AI can try and replicate that. It's
AI
never
can't
going
be
to.
bullied for years in primary school
Yeah.
to inform the trauma that allows me to access it and become a goofy goober later. AI can't do that, and it never
No.
will.
Absolutely not.
And just to add a couple things too, like this is where corporate bullying, like bullying a corporate company actually works. You know, like there have been video games where people have had an all AI cast, and then they had to go back and recast it with real actors because online they got shit kicked if they're doing it for, like, whether it's a Kickstarter or anything else, because, you know, you guys or your viewers or whatever it is, they're actively saying, we hate this. There was a commercial that McDonald's put out that was all AI generated.
Oh, the Christmas
and
one.
it got canned. They pulled it because people were like, this is bad. So
Meta just got bullied out
Meta
of their
did, yeah.
new Muse.
yeah,
thing.
really quickly, because when a couple of those videos
It was like
started
24,
circulating-
48 hours.
Yeah, and they were like, we missed the mark. And I'm like, yeah, you did. So that's the thing, is just kind of being up on stuff and just being, and literally saying, no, we don't want this. Companies will have to listen, because at a certain point, you know, the bubble, as Bill said, is going to burst. There is no replacement for human creativity. Actually, just for funsies, this is the only time I ever used ChatGPT. And I asked, like, out of all these careers, like actors, writers, executive producers, and all that stuff, whose job's more at risk? Majority of the time, it was the executive producer, because they're the least creative people in the room. Sorry to anyone else listening, but they're the ones, if they're following an algorithm, so can AI. AI can figure out, based on past history, oh, what movies have done really well, what shows have done really well, right? Unfortunately, with writers, it's a harder thing because words can be manipulated. Same thing with voice. Like, our voices can be manipulated. But for on-screen acting, there is that uncanny valley that we're like, we hate this because that hasn't been figured out yet. That's why the synth Tilly Norwood or Northwood, or whatever the hell they want to call it, is not a real actress.
If you've ever seen the Trivago ads where they change the amount that he's saying and the mouth changes, it's weird as hell.
Yeah.
I will just say one more thing, which is whenever you see people, or especially companies, talking about the inevitability of AI, consider the source. Look at who is telling you that it's inevitable and it's coming and you have to get on board, because 9 times out of 10, probably more than that, the people who are telling you are the people who stand to make money from that being true.
Or lose the money for it being true too. So they're trying to, you know, it's like NFTs, right? They're trying to, like, they put those out there so they could get their bag, and then when you buy it, that thing is now depleted to, like, you know, not even worth a cent. So
Yeah, invest so that I can get out before it all comes crashing down. Yeah.
Another thing, I will add just one last thing.
We're not directing this at you, by the way. It's a good question. It's a
Really
really
good
good
question.
question, and it's something I'm incredibly passionate about, which is why I was just like, oh, I'll talk about this.
But another factor that people sometimes forget when it comes to all of these, like LLMs and stuff, is that they are, they're producing whatever you're requesting from, like, an amalgamation of all the content they have, which whatever they give to you is like an average of whatever it is. So it can only produce average quality work at best.
It also can't produce new work. It can only give you an approximation, an amalgamation of existing work.
But so the thing is, like, 11 Labs, for example, the people that are really getting screwed by that right now are actually the people who have been clinging on to places like voices.com, doing like corporate things or whatever, like corporate info videos and stuff like that. Those things where there's a captive audience and they're not actually, it's like, you have to watch this because it's part of your training packet for your new job. Those jobs, which used to pay like $25 to $150, things like that, they've now gone to this AI stuff because they're like, well, we could just hire nobody. and stuff like that. But like the movies and the shows that want exceptional performances, 11 Labs is not capable of that because it can only produce average quality work. And so now, mind you, it is a depressing fact of reality that many people can't act to an average level, right? And so it is like, it does behoove you to get training and to focus on like what makes your voice strong and what you can do and to make yourself the best actor you can be. And if you do that, you will very quickly be better than 11 Labs. And if you don't, then you won't.
Hell yeah.
Cool. Just a couple of things to add. Someone was mentioning about setup and stuff. I know Vancouver, like the library downtown, they actually have like some really good studios that you can just like use for free if you need to do like a quick demo or anything like that.
Yeah, great
I always
resource.
forget about that, but
Yeah,
it's true.
and Laura Bailey, great voice actress, right?
Yeah, Laura Bailey
Correct.
rules.
One of my favorites.
Correct.
Great.
Incredible performer. Thank you. Oh, passionate discussion. I love it. I believe we have... When did we start? Do we have like 20 minutes left? Amazing.
Oh, wow. Sick.
Oh, let's go. Any... Amazing.
Oh, sick.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
There we go. Link in the Discord chat for the voice acting club. Do we want to do another little off the paper, or do we have? Is this a question coming? Or no, just
let's do
okay.
this.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. Is it Mareka? Yeah. Okay. I always freak myself out.
Mareka like Jamaica.
Yeah, you even said.
It's the middle syllable. So
Yeah.
you think like rake the leaves. That's the thing that usually screws. I don't mind. If you say anything that's like, I'll answer. If it's got a slight M sound, it's fine. Thanks, Graham.
Asia and Mareka.
Yes.
You both have an education
Oh.
background, which could be considered a creative field since it is reformative training. That's not a question.
Oh, it's because read the beginning of
Oh, some of you on the panel have made your name in other creative fields. What are those? And how does it fit or not with voice acting? But people who aren't me or Bill. Well, Jono's... Yeah. You. Whoever you are.
You, Jamaica Mareka.
So I think the education background that they're referring to in the questions is that I do a lot of teaching. I have taught not all forms of drama, but lots of drama for about 25 years. And I mean, essentially these days for the last, I guess, maybe 15, 18 years or so, I've taught only voice acting. So it's connected so strongly with what I do for work that they're inseparable. So I guess...
Has it broadened you as a performer?
Yeah, that's a
teaching
great...
from the other side?
That's such a great... Thank you, Bill. Because I was thinking, what else can I say that's remotely interesting? Yes, it was interesting. When I started teaching voice acting, I watched my booking rate go up. It's often the case when you teach someone how to do things, you have to think more
Because you're stealing from all the kids.
You're stealing? I never thought about that.
It's not
That's
true.
actually
It's not true.
The students were like, I'm going for this audition. And you're like, oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, let me see the sides.
I
Oh, yes.
meant inspired by it.
I know what you mean.
You give them bad advice.
Bad advice, so I don't.
You should do that German accent the whole time.
You should quit. You should quit. Stop. Stay in your lane.
A lot of people do say that, actually.
That's okay. Do you know, that's actually interesting. Some people are like, well, I don't teach because what if these people take my work? I've heard lots of people say that to me, and I'm like,
Really? No way. Really?
Yep. You're giving away your best secrets and stuff. I'm like, well...
They can't be
it's a-
that good then. Also, come up with some other secrets.
Well, to me, and one of the ways that I teach and I talk to my students is that, and I teach little kids all the way up to adults who are, talking earlier about like for fun and artists for everyone, as I said, that the one thing that no one else can bring to the same set of sides, which is parts of a script, sides are just a piece of that you're using to audition with. The thing that nobody can bring to the character, that each of us can bring to the character that nobody else can, is ourselves. Your own perspective, your own being bullied, when you referred to that earlier, your own experiences of that. So each individual approaches work and a character differently. And so yes, you're competing against other people for jobs, but you're not competing with people from an artistic perspective. And I think something that Graham said earlier that I've been wanting to talk about is that the thing that AI can't do, and you all sort of touched on it, but this is acting. It isn't imitation. It isn't how do you say these words perfectly. It's what is the experience of the character within that scene. The scene serves the story, and the character serves the scene. And so if you're not acting, then things have an emptiness to them, which is why AI doesn't work. Because there is no soul. There are no human experiences behind it. So I think that's partly why when I started teaching voice acting, I had to think more deeply onto how do I actually do this?
Yeah.
And then it made me go, oh yeah, that is how I actually do this. And it sort of finessed and brought me into shape like, professional athletes and things like that in a different way or a more efficient way. So thanks for that, for asking me that.
Yeah, non-imitation I think is a great point because I talk about it all the time when people ask about, I do an incredible impression of this person or this thing. And it misunderstands the point, which is like, okay, that's a great party trick or like a thing to do. But if you get fed a new piece of paper with lines that character or that person has never said, and you can't do it just as well as the thing you've heard 1,000 times, then you won't get that job or you won't be booked for anything, because the question is it's not how close is your perfect impression of a line from a movie or a cartoon. It's, could you then do that if I just said, all right, say these 5 sentences, and can you keep doing it? I did one for a Disney thing where they wanted Mickey Mouse, and they had 5 lines that were in Fantasia, and then they had 10 lines that were just brand new. And that's how they were going to weed people out. They'd be like, well, I can listen to those 5 lines 100 times.
Your dad could do that,
Yeah.
right? Like your dad could do an imitation of Mickey Mouse, but can they act?
And then it was like, okay, here's 10 lines that you've never heard before because they've never been written before, and do them as the same, Mickey. So imitation is not as useful as you think.
I will chip in really quickly here just to say, though, imitations of characters can actually start off as great starting points for unique
100%.
characters.
True. It can be a seed for something for sure.
Yeah, bad impressions are more useful.
It works you out. Works you out.
Yeah.
Provides your vocal cords get stronger and stuff.
No, I honestly, everything that you said is very much the case. I find that so interesting that someone's like, oh, I don't want to teach it because I don't want to give away my secrets, because I don't think there's really any secret, other than just being a good actor and just kind of being dedicated to it.
What are you, a kung fu master and the student's going to kill you?
Yeah.
This is not a 70s, exploitation film.
No, exactly, right? So that's just so interesting. But it is cool because when you do teach, you do kind of deconstruct what you do and try to make it palatable for other people to understand it. So in a way, it's a fun exercise because for so long, especially if you've been doing it without teaching it, so actually funny enough that you bring up kung fu, I've done mixed martial arts for most of my life. I got my black belt when I was 16 and I taught that for a very long time.
Show up.
So, yeah, now. So no student can beat the crap out of me.
Yeah, I was gonna say. There's one technique I will never teach them.
Yes. But through that, when I was teaching, it's I knew innately what my body can do for a lot of this stuff, but then when to break it down, if a 5-year-old is trying to learn how to do an armbar, or someone older who has never really done something like this, how do I break it down to show, okay, this is how you punch properly? It just kind of reworks those muscles in a way so that you can remember to always go back to the basics, and so if you're coming up against an audition that's really tough, you can kind of think, okay, how would I teach it? And then break it down that way. So I found that's been very useful. And again, just being inspired by a room full of other young and hungry creatives, it's just kind of fun. I would also say the other thing that for me personally has been integral in I don't know, any form of success is I'm a super proud aunt. So I have a lot of little kids in my life, whether it's my friends' kids or my cousins having kids. And growing up with them and seeing them from various perspectives, the youngest is 2, And so seeing her kind of go about the world and see things and mimic things and you know, getting a chance to play with her and we're almost like stretch my own imagination and just kind of jump in has been fun because, you know, for some of our shows, our audience is kids, right? So when you think about it, when you're doing an audition or you're trying to break it down, I try to think, well, what would make her laugh? What would make, you know, my 8-year-old nephew laugh or like my brother who has like slapstick humor? Well, like what would make these people laugh? And it just always like kind of invigorates like a sense of play with me when I'm around them. So yeah, so for me that's always kind of that's something I hold on to a lot.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start teaching. I've always been scared. It does. It's not scary anymore.
It's not always fun, I'll say that.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
Any other questiones?
Yeah, we got 10 minutes. Do we want to? Oh,
Questiones,
actually, no.
comments,
You said
concerns?
3:30. Sweet.
Until they kick us out.
Oh, here's an interesting one. What skills or habits did you have to unlearn in order to progress to the next level of your craft?
Oh. No, you go. I've been talking a lot. You go.
This actually goes back into the last point. When I started, I was obsessed with basically having my first audition reads sound really good, which on the surface is like, well, yeah, of course. But the thing is, if you try to sound really good instead of trying to be the character, I found I would get locked into maybe 1 or 2 lanes. And when the person was like, okay, well, you know, those sounded great. Maybe let's go this way. And suddenly I was lost at sea because I'd focused so much on those 2 lanes. I'm like, because again, I wasn't trying to be a character who was a 3-dimensional construct who, you know, like who had lived, felt, thought. I was just trying to be like, hey, I'm going to make this sound like in, you know, like in the show I saw or this game I saw.
But I spent 4 hours developing this cool guy voice, and now you need me to be a teenager. Let's go, fellow kids.
Yeah, there's a phrase that gets used a lot in classes I've taken and with people, which is that performance first or acting first, not voice first. So it's good to have pockets full of voices. That's what you draw on when you try to develop a new character. But yeah, if you get locked into it, that's actually something, it took me embarrassingly years to learn that it's not what I thought was happening, which is that I would go into an audition, and I won't say which director because I'm still embarrassed, but the director would often throw me a curveball, and one of them was like, oh, do it in your Australian accent. And I would always get frustrated because I thought that they were just like, it's funny that, you know, they're Australian, we can just make them do it. And I was like, well, why are you getting me to do it in an Australian accent? They're never going to cast this character as an Australian. That's not what this show is. And so I just felt like it was kind of teasing me. I learned many years later, I was like, oh, they were seeing if I could still do it if I took myself out of like North American voice. You know, if I was doing it like this, and then they said, you know, do it in Australian. And then if I could still do it, then it meant that I was in the character as opposed to just locked into the voice. And I did not know that for a very long time. And I feel like I got unnecessarily upset at this director. And if I ever get to work with them again, I'm going to apologize profusely and explain that I was just like, hey, look, if I ever came off like I was being a bit of a dick in any of the sessions or the auditions, I realize now what you were doing. And you were doing, and directors will do it in a myriad different ways, which is that they will throw you a curveball to be like, okay, can you be directable? Or are you just locked in? It's the same thing with auditions, and it's why I wish more things were done, more callbacks and more auditions were done in studio, because they can find this out instantly. But what is happening more and more lately that I hear about from all people up the production chain is that someone will have, and you don't know this because you can't tell when you get an MP3 audition, someone will have spent dozens, potentially more hours on an audition to get it perfect. And then when they get in the booth and they're thrown the slightest bit of direction or a line change that is outside of what they already, perfected, they can't do it. And everyone in the room will panic,
when that happens because it's an expensive problem to fix. Essentially, that whole day is a write-off. They have to hope and really, really pray that the second choice is still available. It's not good. It's going to have to be re-recorded for one, so that's 2 days. Yeah, it's a bad, bad problem to have. It does sometimes happen, but yeah, that's... The curveballs that they throw you are not them teasing you because you're Australian. It's because they want to make sure that you are able to do it. But the one thing that I had to unlearn, just to actually answer the question that was asked, was I came from theatre and I had to unlearn diction. So something that you learn in theatre a lot is that, you know, I would normally have to be speaking to the back of this room. And so you have to be very clear in how you enunciate. And that doesn't work as well for voiceover. And so I was getting lots of feedback of just like, everything's a little too crisp. All the, you know, the consonants and all the T's and the P's are nice and clear and crisp. And people don't really talk like that. Theatre is a very strange beast all of its own. And so it was very strange to me because I had sort of prided myself for a long time on my excellent diction and clarity. And suddenly every job, they were like, okay, first of all, faster. That's another thing you will get told constantly is speak faster. And you'll be like, oh, okay, but it doesn't feel like I'm acting. I remember being told by a director, we don't have time for acting. Go. And yeah, it might have been, yeah. I think it was. Yeah. And yeah, diction. You will have to kind of, you know, like sort of slur things together and, you know, contractions and things like that, the way that people talk, you know, when they're actually speaking, which you wouldn't think that maybe you would have to, but when you're used to, you know, public speaking or theatre, yeah, you have to unlearn that.
I think like for unlearning, I think was more just getting comfortable with my own natural voice. Because I think for like, you know, growing up, like especially like in the time that I grew up, like a lot of characters were all very charactery like voices, and the trend, especially now, is kind of moving more toward natural. Like everything is like natural. So, you know, I think just kind of building that acceptance of like where my natural voice sits and the characters that it can apply to. I think that was something, because like, yeah, I did a lot of boy voices, a lot of creature voices and character-y type voices, which is great. It's great to kind of have in your back pocket. It makes you more like a versatile actor. But as, you know, the trend was kind of coming, it's like, yeah, okay, like, you know, I'm good doing this in other voices. I should be able to do this like kind of in my own natural voice too. And I think just building that acceptance to it was something that was, you know, took a little bit of time, but like, you know.
I've never panicked more than when an audition wants Australian.
Yeah.
Because I've done probably 6 jobs in 15 years that are Australian, and everything else is British or American.
Yeah.
So when the audition says Australian, and I haven't booked them, by the way, there have been a bunch, like a bunch of auditions, and I know that I'm not guaranteed them and I'm not owed them. But it really does feel like that old joke of like, you know, oh, Charlie Chaplin came 3rd in a Charlie Chaplin lookalike contest. Like I've done a bunch of auditions for Australian characters and gone, well, surely, you know. I think in terms of like, there's Rona Reese, who does, you know, the femme side of voices, and then, yeah, he's non-union though.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Yeah. And he mostly does commercials, I think. And he lives on the island as well. But in terms of like in-town Australian mask voices, then it's me, as far as I know. And so when I don't book them, first of all, I'm like, well, that's just wrong. And second of all, I do go, well, then who did you get?
Yeah.
Yeah. One of them, they got Cole Howard.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So he was doing an Australian accent.
That was slightly virus, but
That's
he's
so
an
funny.
incredible performer, but I've never heard Cole do an Australian accent.
I don't think I've ever heard him do an Australian
I
accent.
mean, he
Ever.
might have nailed
I'm gonna ask
it.
him next time.
Yeah, but to what you were saying
Apparently
about
it's really good.
being it's good enough to book. Being comfortable with your own voice, I still don't know if I am. I've had feedback sometimes from Caitlin at GGRP, who has said, can you just drop it into your natural speaking voice in an American accent, though? And that's a sort of a pat your head and rub your tummy thing for me sometimes, to sort of be like, okay, how do I sound now? Okay, how do I sound now? All right. There's the Nintendo Switch, the Paper Mario 1000-Year Door game, which they insisted on making us say game after 1000-Year Door. And I was like, everyone knows it's a game. It's on the Switch. Yeah, the Paper Mario 1000-Year Door game. Yeah.
I booked one of those, and I insisted that we record takes where I did not say game at the end, and I'm
That's
pretty sure
brave.
that's the version they used.
That's brave. You
Like,
just go.
Yeah.
I will be recording 2 versions.
Yeah.
By the way.
I didn't word it like that, but I was like, they were pretty chill, and it was just like, I really think that
Everybody
you
in
guys
town is
should
pretty
have
chill,
a
and you just
version.
go like, I think I've done one too, where you just go like, what do you say? We just like we do both, huh? We got time.
Yeah.
I shan't be saying game at the end of the script.
Work
Around it.
I one for them, one for me, you know? Here's a question, because I know a lot of people struggle with this, like hearing your own voice back.
I love my voice.
Well, so
I did. Yeah.
did you always, or did you have to like get to that point? Right?
Kinda.
'Cause so many people hate
It
hearing their own
was
voice.
it was not a long period of time where I didn't, and it's very very self-centered and arrogant. But even I used to make I had a tape recorder, and I would make little radio shows where I would play all the characters and do all the accents and things. And man, I loved it, and I loved how it sounded, and so I've always kind of liked it. Now, what I will say is I struggle with hearing my voice from the past. So hearing my old demo from 2001 is, it's real cringy.
Yeah.
It's very, very rough. And I don't like the register that I speak in. I don't like the accent that is much stronger in that one. I thought for sure, I was like, I've definitely not lost my Australian accent at all. And then I hear that, I hear that CD, and it's we're going to go down and, pick up some beers, and then we're going to go to, Retrovision and get a TV for
It's
$0 down. And
it's like Cole Howard is right here in the flesh.
He's right here among us. So I don't. A lot of people do struggle with that, and it's a very common thing that people say, like, I just hate the sound of my own voice. I don't. As you could probably tell.
Yeah. I used to hate the sound of my own voice back when I was getting used to hearing what it sounded like through headphones. And yeah, like you going back and just hearing old auditions where, this is also just going back quickly where another habit I had to unlearn, going back to a previous question, was that I made the mistake of reading naturalistic and making the choice to not make a choice in the read. And that leads to the most lifeless.
Oh, but there was a little period. There was a little period in the 2010s where that is exactly what everybody wanted.
Oh, that's really
They were like, yes, Queen, give us nothing.
This is before I started. Okay.
It was just like, hey, come on down, buy the new shoes that we have. They're half off. Only until July 7th. At
Kid,
Mark's,
you've got the part.
at Mark's Warehouse. It's the only discount clothing place I could think of that does shoes and boots. There was a little period where that's exactly what they wanted, and I'm sorry, but you missed it.
I'm actually glad I started after that.
You read naturalistic and you thought they meant mumblecore. You're just like, new McDonald's chicken nuggets, spicy dipping sauce. Sorry, I'm just having fun up here now. You remember when I said I like the sound of my own voice?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think everybody kind of goes through that, especially if you're not used to hearing it like at the beginning, because I mean, it was like back then it was more like hearing your voice on a voicemail or like on the or if you had an answering machine, right? So when you hear it back, you're like, this is terrible. But I think the more you do it, the more you get comfortable with it, and that's what I found too. Like, you know, when I did character stuff like that, I like to listen to, and then. Yeah, again, it was just kind of getting used to, like, okay, this is what I sound like. And everyone, someone asked me once, they're like, is there such thing as a bad voice? And no, like, there's no such thing. What's amazing in this room and beyond, like, each and every one of you is unique. You have unique experiences. You have everything. Your journey is not all going to be the same. So, yeah. Yes, I breathe into the wings. Your journey is not always going to be the same. So, what's really, really cool is that, like, you know, your voice is your superpower, right? Like, there's a lot of people that can, like, you know, do something really, really high or do, like, an Inspector Gadget, you know, voice or whatever, but, you know, finding what your voice is niche to is amazing, and I feel like that sparked something in you to ask a question, sir.
That wasn't exactly what sparked it. This is a bit of a cheeky question for all of you, and I am going to commit a streamer faux pas, at least to many streamers, but I'm going to ask all 5 of you, how do you guys feel about having 1,002 people watching on our Twitch stream?
What?
I wanted to give a shout out to all of those 1,000 people as well. That's why I just celebrated, because we just hit 1,000
Where's our
viewers.
cameras
Oh my
at?
gosh, thank you.
Shout out to
Where
those-
are they?
Shout out to
the
those
camera?
2 people.
Shout out to you,
Hello.
chat. Shout out to everybody here. That's more than I've ever had
Oh my
on
gosh,
my stream.
Woo!
Wow.
Climbing.
Quick,
Amazing.
quick, get really interesting.
Yeah. You mean naturalistic?
Yeah, let's get real
Well, hold on.
naturalistic.
We actually should. We can't. What's your Twitch?
Oh, twitch.tv/nilbuton, NILLBEWTON. It's not that smart, actually. It's very difficult for discovery across all platforms, as I've found out. I thought it was clever. It's bad for advertising. Oh, sorry. Yeah. That's okay, though. It's too late to change now. I already have so many platforms with that name.
I can't say mine. Yeah.
Oh, is it like letters and numbers and things, or is
No,
it
no,
like NSFW?
yeah, I'm a VTuber.
So it's
I have to keep it-
NSFW?
I have to try to keep it somewhere.
Now I want to
on the
know
DL.
what it is. Oh, right. Yeah, you're not supposed to. Yeah,
That's
you'd be doxing your V self.
I'd be doxing myself.
Yeah.
Which
I've only streamed once. If I ever do it again, it'll be under twitch.tv/Jono3_88.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't streamed yet myself, but you can always find me at Asia Mattu, so ASIAMATTU on Instagram. I might get into it one day.
Yeah.
I just haven't had the time. But it's,
See, Asia did
I
it
love
right.
Let's Play.
Asia used her actual name, the way it's spelled and ordered.
Yeah,
I
'cause
didn't do
I
that.
thought about branding.
Yeah, I thought I was just going to be really clever with my, you know, like online presence. No, didn't work out.
But yeah, but thank you all on online for. I don't know where I'm looking. I don't know where there was.
Yeah,
a
like, where do
camera.
we look?
I think up there in the bio booth.
I'll show you.
There we go.
Oh, sick!
Pointed right at us right now.
I'll show it to you later.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I went over there when we were getting ready to start, and I was just like, "This is a pretty sick setup."
Thank gosh, I wore like at least.
Yeah, we're on like a
some
TV
makeup.
show right now. We're on a TV show right now. I didn't. I'm shiny as
No way.
F.
That's amazing. Thank y'all.
By the way,
Uh,
I'm sorry to cut it off. Just on the subject of listening to your own voice, because I want people to know a lot of people hate the sound of their own voice, and they see it as like a huge barrier. And I did hate the sound of my own voice, and I think a lot of us. I think exactly what Asia was saying, right? And it really is the case that just over time, you stop caring.
I guess that's true. Like, I mean, I initially did, and then I've been doing this a very long time, and it's just like anything at work where you go like, oh yeah, you know, at first I didn't really like, you know, scrubbing out the fat drip tray at the restaurant, but then it's just part of work and it's fine.
Not only that, if you can stand it and if you have enough time before the deadline, I'd really recommend recording the audition to the best of your ability and then waiting 2 days and listening back to it.
Yeah.
Because you'll have like somewhat fresh ears.
Very
And-
true, but it takes such discipline, and
Yeah.
I don't always have it. The audition comes in and they go like, say it's a Monday, and they go, oh, it's due Thursday, and I'm just like, that's gonna be done Wednesday night. Don't do that. Some of us have been working long enough, and this isn't an excuse, but like some of us have been working long enough that you can approach material a little later with less prep time. You shouldn't, because every time I have done more prep, it's actually turned out a lot better. But just like at school, I will not learn. Yeah, if you have the chance to record it and then leave it and step away from it for a little while and then listen back, there's plenty where I've done that and then booked it because I listened and went, I don't really like how that went. I think it needs a little something else.
Yeah.
And it's when you've got the distance from it that you can make that choice.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe I shouldn't say this publicly, but I've found that for
Careful.
1,010 people watching.
well,
Careful.
because for commercials, I've been the most successful when I actually have contempt for the product.
Dude, I spent years letting it out like too obviously in the read, and I had a drought of working on commercials for years. I just couldn't book them, and I started to resent them for it. And then I decided to just take the piss one day and really like almost mockingly record the commercial.
Yeah.
And I booked it.
Yeah.
Because me sort of going like, coming soon at McDonald's, we've got the... And it was just me going like... and they loved it.
Yeah.
They were just like, oh, the energy is so good.
There's just
like,
something about the read.
just
It just
you
has this
seemed
extra
really,
energy.
really like into doing it. And I was like, yeah, for the different reason. Now I don't do that with all commercials, but for the longest time, I would be trying to mock them, and
Well-
you sort of do better because you.
Yeah.
I think it's because you're more engaged.
Well, I booked 3 in a row like that. I don't think
Heck yeah.
I wasn't mocking them in the read, but I just didn't respect the product
Give the mock a try.
and booked them. And then this is the problem. I was like, oh, I found this pattern. Like I need to hate the product, but I can't. I'm not a good enough actor. I tried to fake it. I was like, oh, I'm going to like summon contempt for this product that I've never heard of, and it doesn't work.
Ooh, I
have
hate
to
you,
actually-
BCAA.
I have to actually hate them.
Yeah, that's I think a good lesson for all performance, which is like it's got to come from a place of truth.
Well,
Like
so
that's how it is. So you have to actually like find a way to really hate the product instead of going, oh, I hate you so much.
I have a weird view on this, and I'm
Okay.
very curious to hear what you think about this, because I feel like people will say that like when you're acting, you are your instrument, that you're learning to play, especially your voice. You're learning to play yourself, but also emotionally, right? And so I have found that that people don't. A lot of times, people will make themselves sad, and they don't sound sad. Like there's something about the way that they process that emotion that isn't authentic, and
Sure.
they need to get the sound that we're looking for.
Well,
they have to do something else.
I think a lot of techniques that are taught in terms of like accessing emotions and memories play on screen.
Yeah.
And they don't in the booth because there is no screen. But that is sort of fundamental to all of what we do, because there are so many things that you need to convey vocally that cannot be conveyed on your face, like a cocked eyebrow or like surprise. Nobody can see you raise your eyebrows or like, furrow your brow or be upset like that. So you have to find a way to get it across vocally. And as you say, if people hold the emotion in, like, you watch a movie or a TV show and their eyes well up with tears and just like fall down their face, they're really going through it, but you can't hear it. Mm-hmm. And so you sort of have to then pivot to other things like, the the ragged breath or something like that, or little sniff, get the snot up, take notes.
Yeah.
And I think there's a difference between just being true, which is acting, and then having to kind of modify it slightly for an audio medium, while still being true. Like yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't really like. I've never been a fan of like method performance and things like that. It's just Tom Hardy had a great quote in an interview where he said, like, there's just two kinds. There's good acting and bad acting. And however you access what it is, if it's true and if it comes off, then that's good. If they believe you, it doesn't matter how you got there. It doesn't matter that you needed to, stay up for 2 days or think about, a past relative.
Yeah.
It's make-believe. You just find a way to make them believe that that's how you feel, or think.
Yeah.
Well, I think too, it's like, when you're in the booth, like you said, like because you have nothing around you, you're creating that environment.
Yes.
So it does allow you to go bigger because, like, unless you're doing, say, mocap where they do have a rig or something on you, like they're just focused on your vocal stuff. So
Yeah.
that's why, like, everything can be a little bigger. Where, like, when I'm doing on camera, just like you said, everything, it's all in the eyes. So if I'm upset about something, like, it has to come here. I can't be too big because then that looks weird for the show, especially if it's like a cop procedural or something, a little more on the dramatic side of things. So when you're in the booth, you can be bigger with your emotions and kind of play. It's easier to go big and then have a director tell you, okay, just give you a little less.
Yeah.
Than if you were to give a little less and then be like, okay, now 50% more, now another 50%.
Yeah.
So go big, and then, with on camera, I find it's very more like, tapping into those emotions.
Start
and
less.
You don't have to
Yeah.
be like a sobbing mess because that's going to look weird, but you can have that little hitch in your throat and just a little bit of a change in your
Yeah.
breathing. But that's enough to convey that authentically anyways.
I remember getting told off early in my career because I was taking big dramatic pauses in things because, like the script, it called for it and it would have, like, it felt true and it was good. And I think it was Carl at Ocean, and it was for a dub. And there was a couple of things, and he was just like, okay, look, two things. We don't have the mouth flap time to match that, so we definitely can't do it. And also, we don't just have enough time in the episode in general, even if we tried to rewrite it. So he's like, I love it. I love the intentionality. I love the place that it's coming from, but no. With love, no.
I remember I would go out for like really small on-camera stuff for like a year just to try and get my feet wet. And my first ever on-camera commercial audition, I do my first take. I chat with the director really quickly. Yes, okay, yeah. He's like blah blah blah. Yeah. Pleasantries educator. It's like, oh yeah, well actually, like I'm actually a voice actor, and he starts laughing like, okay, that's why. All right, so second take. I love the instincts. Dial it down by like 80%. They're like, oh, I didn't know it was that. Oh yeah, it is. Trust me, we can see it. There's a camera on you. So.
Big eyebrow acting. That's something that also used to happen in theater a lot. You'd always pick someone in the production who would do a lot of acting with their eyebrows on every line, just to really punctuate everything they were saying. And yeah, that doesn't really translate. Like, again, on stage, back of the room, they might want to see the eyebrows. On camera, when it's right in your face, no, you look like a clown.
I'm getting the signal that I believe we are done.
Oh, right on time.
No
actually.
racism?
We're doing the.
Oh, jeez. I totally missed it.
Careful, yellow card.
Who knows?
Yellow card from FIFA.
Yeah. Oral red,
Yeah.
Thank you guys, all of you. For anyone on the stream, which is now up to 1,400 viewers, thank you all. In half an hour, we've got our cosplay contest coming up. We'll give everyone a break and the AV team and all of us a break so we can go and eat. But thank you all of you, and keep it locked, keep it tuned in, because in half an hour, we've got the cosplay contest.
Thank you.
Thank you
And
so
we're
much, everyone.
here.
We're all downstairs. We have a booth set up downstairs. If anyone has any questions that weren't answered, we're downstairs, right?
Yes. UBCP ACTRA has our booth downstairs.
We'll look for
look
these
for these banners. We're taking them with
banners.
us. Please come and chat to us if you have anything further.
And any of the Vancouver locals that are tuning in, you still have time to come down to the Anvil Center here in New Westminster. We have 50 vendors, an additional 12 more game developers and others showing off their stuff. We're running right until 8 p.m., entrance $15.
Come on
down!
Till 8 p.m. Thanks, everybody. Thanks all of you.
everybody.
Thank you, stage crew team.
This screen is terrible.
The 2026 TwitchCon Cosplay Contest. I'm so excited to be here. And so hello everybody here in person, but also everybody watching live on stream. I see you and welcome, and be sure to stay super invested in watching all of our competitors today. So first of all, my name is Wei, and I'm so honored to be here today as your host. Thank you all so much for joining, whether you are here to cheer on your friends, you are here just to enjoy the incredible talent here in this room. We've got an insanely impressive, amazing set of cosplayers here to walk the stage today, and they've put countless hours into designing, crafting, sewing, and performing their performances here today. So make sure to save your applause. Don't applaud now, but we will save that for when they are walking the stage. Before we get started, I want to take a few moments here just to explain how the contest is going to work, go over our judging categories, introduce our judges, and of course, give you a bit of a heads up about what the prizes are going to be. This year's contest has 2 competition categories. The crafted category is for cosplayers who have largely made their costumes themselves. So people in this division they're going to be judged on both their craftsmanship and also their stage walk. And in this category, our lovely judges here will be looking at the accuracy, the technical skill, and the overall polish of the costume. Our second category is for purchased costumes. And this group of cosplayers, they have largely purchased different parts of their outfits here today. And since the focus isn't on the technicality or the construction of what they're wearing, they will be judged on their presentation, their stage presence, as well as the overall showmanship of what they're doing here on stage. No matter which category they're competing in, remember that cosplay is all about the creativity, all about having fun, showing passion for the series that we love. So make sure to really give them all of the love with your applause and your cheering. Now, here's the fun part, our prizes. For the crafted category, our first place winner will receive 2 tickets to the Undertale Symphony, October 10th at 2 p.m. There's going to be a $25 Bee Bombshell Salon gift card and enhanced membership to the H.R. McMillan Space Center and a $50 Yeetie gift card. Second place is going to also get 2 tickets to the Undertale Symphony. There's going to be a $25 gift card for the Bee Bombshell Salon, a $25 gift card for Kelly O'Brien's Restaurant, and a $50 Yeetie gift card. And we've got third place. For third place, there will be a gift package full of Twitch swag and other artist merch. So those are the prizes for our crafting group. As for our purchased category for the walk-ons, these guys are going to be getting a limited edition Twitch Vancouver mug and a gift card from Paw Designs as well as a $50 Yeetie gift card. Huge thank you, of course, to our sponsors for very generously supporting this year's contest. And time to introduce our judges. So we'll start here on that is going to be your right side. We have Zotri. Zotri fell in love with the art of handmade cosplays after her very first con, which led her down the path of learning to sew, even studying fashion for film and television. With a flair for the theatrical and fantastical, Zotri is hard to miss with her award-winning Twisted Wonderland costumes. Let's give it up for Zotri. Welcome, Zotri. Right next to Zotri here in the middle, we've got Kiki's cosplay service. Kiki is a master-level cosplayer and an experienced craftsmanship judge whose love of cosplay stems from their Halloween costumes just never really being quite right. A self-taught crafter, Kiki's skills range from head to toe, a master of wigs and even a maker of shoes. They say that you can't judge a person by their game library, but when only 2 franchises make up the majority, it really makes you wonder what kind of person plays that much Harvest Moon and Pokemon. Give it up, please, for Kiki. Last but not least, here on our left, we have Atelier Radius, whose cosplays feature some professional... Whoa, I really messed up my reading there. Atelier Radius features the creations of longtime costume maker Radius. Her professional education is related to math, but crafting is her next favorite hobby, if you don't count the other things that she dabbles in. Her favorite crafting mediums are fabric, resin gems, and her newest endeavor, metalsmithing. If there's anything she's learned from her costuming endeavors, it is that practice makes perfect. Radius is excited to join our judges panel here today, so let's please give it up for Atelier Radius. Excellent. Thank you all so much for all of your attention during this intro. A few more reminders just before we get started. Please make sure to give all the contestants your full attention and your loudest cheers. Remember that all of the costumes we're seeing here today represent so many hours of work and creativity and research and dedication. So we're just here to celebrate the talent, the passion, and what makes the cosplay community so awesome. All right, contestants back there, take a deep breath, have fun, and enjoy your time on stage, and let's get started with all our competitors. Okay, entry number 1 is Urahana. Let's give it up, please, for Urahana. Coming through the spatial rift, a wild Palkia appeared. What will you do, trainer? This Pokemon cosplay is an original design, using layers of various fabrics to create a flowy and silky look. She is surrounded by the galaxy and stars wherever she goes, and let's hear it for Urahana. That was incredible. Entry number 2, we have Church Demon Cosplay. Our second contestant, Church Demon Cosplay. May the beam reach you. With 14 years of cosplay under her belt and 10 years of professional makeup experience, Church Demon Cosplay brings Critical Role's own Church Demon, Tyranny, to life. With over 30 meters of handmade ruffles, 40 hours of hand sewing, and lots of walking practice, check out those shoes, this costume was full of learning new techniques. The costume itself was entirely self-patterned and constructed besides the shoes and the horns. Ever light, ever bright. Stunning. We're good. Entry number 3, we have Sats. For our third entry, Sats, cosplaying Zagreus from Supergiant Games' Hades franchise. Being the son of Hades and Persephone, Zag doesn't have it easy. Good thing he's the most stubborn guy on this side of the Acheron. This costume was built using a lot of simple craft materials, even more spray paint, and a boatload of hairspray to top it all off. Let's give it up for Sats. And next, we will have some performance category competitors take the stage. Entry number 1 will be DragonMightCosplays. DragonMightCosplays is cosplaying All Might in his Golden Age suit. Yes, give it up. Dragon Might has been cosplaying since February of this year and hopes to raise awareness for mental health and suicide prevention through cosplay. Everyone deserves to have a symbol of peace in their life. That's right. And by attempting to embody the qualities that All Might stands for, Dragon Might wants everyone to know that they are loved, that they matter, and that someone cares about them. Go beyond plus ultra. Woo! I'm obsessed. Entry number 2, Razor Cosplay. Cosplaying Dimitri from Fire Emblem 3 Houses. Let's give it up for Razor. You've likely seen Razor cosplaying a multitude of Fire Emblem characters. Dimitri means a lot to Razor for his character progression and overall character design. This weapon prop here has LEDs inside and just beautiful armor. Let's give it up for Razor Cosplay. Amazing. And number 3, we have Hada March, cosplaying Wikander Halavar from Critical Role Campaign 4. This cosplay is entirely made by his girlfriend, Party Chicken Cosplay, aside from the wig. Sharing is caring. Let's reduce, reuse, and whatever the third thing is. That was awesome. So, with that, having seen all of our incredible performers take the stage, it is time now for the judges to do a bit of deliberation, have some discussion about who the prizes are going to be going to. During this time, I'd actually like to invite all cosplayers, even if you don't consider yourself a cosplayer, if you're out here and you're dressed up today, I'd love for you to head over onto the aisle, take the stairs, head on down here with me, and let's do a big group photo together with all the cosplayers here today at TwitchCon. So if you're in costume, this would be a great time. Up on your feet, let's get onto the stairs. Come on down, we'll take a photo. I will also invite our contestants backstage to join us here on stage so we can get a huge Vancouver cosplay community group photo. All right, I'm gonna leave my mark. Dressed up. It's really bright up here for me to see. Would you like to join our group photo? Okay. Anyone else? Group photo? Okay. And we're gonna have to get nice and close together so the photo can be framed really beautifully. Maybe some people who have the mobility, they can kneel down too. Beautiful. Let's do maybe another 5 seconds. Let's do a different pose maybe. All right, photographers, how are we doing? All good? Awesome, perfect, thank you. And you know what, you don't have to rush to get off the stage so fast. If anyone wants to chat with me a little bit while the judges are deliberating, oh, You look excited. You want the mic? I wasn't expecting that. I think we might have to go over there so that you're captured on the stream, right? Okay, come with me. There is a live stream. The live stream, there's 3 cameras, center, left, and right. And yeah, we've got lots of viewers here on stream. So hello again to everybody on stream. Yeah. Do you want to tell us about your costume? Or like a favorite part?
Yes. Okay. Hi, guys. How's everyone doing? Wow, that's awesome. Okay, so hi, my name is Megan. I know that you guys heard my introduction as I walked on. I go by Church Demon Cosplay. I would say my favorite thing about this costume is actually all the little rhinestones. So there's a bunch of little rhinestones, and I don't know if you can see them because they are quite tiny, but I'm hoping they're a little sparkly. But those ones I was able to hand sew. So I would just sit there, watch my favorite show, and take these little beads and literally hand sew everything. It's kind of therapeutic, but one of my favorites. Am I not in the right spot?
I just want to make sure you're on stream.
Oh my god, hi stream. Wow, right here. Sorry everybody. It's the hooves, right? That's what we can say. But yeah, so my favorite thing was just like the little beads that I was hand sewing onto the costume. So one of my most favorite parts. I don't know, does anyone else want to share their stuff? You don't have to, there's no pressure. I can keep going. Oh my goodness. No, if people are scared, it's okay. My other favorite thing is...
There were a lot of favorite things, I'm sure. But you know what? I will tell you what my favorite thing was, and it's got to be this pair of shoes. Is everyone seeing how they're heelless heels with the horse type of fur? I'm so obsessed. Those cannot be comfortable, but
Comfortable. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. I've been in the shoes for, I'd say like an hour and a half now? Yeah, about an hour and a half. Yeah, but the max I did was 7 hours at Emerald City Comic Con. That was pretty good.
I respect that. That's absolutely insane. Does anyone else want to share anything about their costumes at all just for fun? Come on up, All Might. Let's go. Any My Hero Academia fans in the audience? Yeah, that's right. Whoa.
I'm not biased. You're my new favorite, though. Hey guys, I am DragonMightCosplays. As you might have heard in my introduction, I actually cosplay to raise awareness for mental health and suicide prevention based on my own experiences. Not going to get too into that right now because I will start crying. But if there is one thing that I want every single person out there to know, it's that you are loved, that you matter, and that somebody cares about you. Love always wins, guys. Every single time. Never give up. I am here. I can say more stuff. It's up to you.
Ooh, I'd love for all the competitors to be able to share something about that they love about their costume. Come on up. Let's come a little bit closer. Your costume is so bright and beautiful, and I don't know if you can see, but the eye makeup here is insane. Beautiful green and red. Do you want to tell us your favorite part of the costume?
Yeah, thank you. I think my favorite part of the costume is probably the pauldron, aka this little shoulder piece with Cerberus skulls on it. It's kind of hard to tell, but I have named each of the Cerberus skulls individually because while together they are Cerberus, they are each in their own rights good boys. Therefore, I have named them after 2 Slay the Spire bosses who I have misnamed in my head, and one, well, you'll see. We've got Jonku, Longku, and in the very back, Tim.
All right, let me just do a quick check-in, everyone, to see how the judges are doing. Do we think we need a couple more minutes? We are good. All right, if you are good, then I think we got to do a speed round before we invite the judges back on. Favorite part of your costume?
Cool, my lance.
Woo! Favorite part?
All the sparkles, the space.
My favorite part too, insane sparkles. And for you, favorite part?
The very specifically airbrush sash. That's my favorite part.
It does look absolutely perfect. Amazing. One more round of applause for our competitors here today. And we'll have the judges back on. First, we will present some of our walk-on awards. Then we will present our craftsmanship awards. And before all of that, we do have a special award to hand out. So what we're going to do is special award, walk-on awards, and then our crafting awards. I will pass the mic over to our judges. Oh, they've all got mics already. I guess I'll stay here on my On my mark then. So if we could have everybody a little bit closer towards center, we'll invite the judges to walk a bit forward as well. And let's double check, are we in a good position? Perfect. All right, with that, I will pass it over to the judges to hand out our first award, our special award.
Hello, I'm Zotri. I'm going to be doing the announcements for the special awards. We want to give an honorable mention to DragonMightCosplay, or All Might here, being an advocate for mental health and being a positive person in the cosplay community. We thank you for your support and for sharing your story and being here on stage today with us.
Such an incredible man. I've known him for about a year and love his presence every single time he's here. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, right there. All right. Now, next up, we are going to be giving out our first walk-on award, which my lovely judge over here will be the one to give out our runner-up for stage presence.
Yes, our runner-up for stage presence goes to How to March.
I love you with candor.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I don't know how to shake hands. I have never done this before in my life.
All right, amazing. So next up is our, I guess, best walk-on in a way. So for our walk-on award, we're giving it to Riser Cosplay. Please give everyone a little spin. Incredible stage presence, knows how to pose. Here is yours. I have so many things in my hand.
I'm gonna just I started a trend. Let's go. Who's ever been mad about getting a high five?
Do you want to grab your... All right, and now we have our Craftsmanship Award. So I want to say thank you to all of our walk-ons. And now coming up, we are going to be going in the terms of third, second, and then our best in show. So first up, we're going to have my lovely judge over here will be giving out the third place.
Okay, we're giving out the third place for a very explosive stage presence as well as really well done crafting on the pauldron. This goes to Sats.
My hat.
High five.
Let's go.
All right. And following right back up, we're going to be giving out second place. I see they're all ready. Miss America. Runner-up.
Our runner-up goes to Yurahana for the amazing jewelry work and then the color work underneath all those fabrics.
If you have a chance to look at the jewelry making, it is gorgeous and it just shines under the light. Am I seeing double?
Let's go.
No.
Now for the best in show. I wonder who it could be. All right, let's all stomp a little bit. The suspense is killing me. It could be literally anyone. Our best in show is Church Demon Cosplay. It's okay, it's in character.
Right? It's in character.
I'm gonna high five all of you after.
Thank you all so much for being part of this year's TwitchCon Vancouver Cosplay Contest. We will do again photos this time with the judges. So if all of the competitors could squish together a little bit, judges as well will take some final photos. And as we get set up for final photos, thank you all for joining. Feel free to at any time. We are just going to take photos. You're welcome to take photos as well. Or if you are done for today, thank you so much for attending. And I wish you a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Thanks, everyone. up here, isn't it?
Just basically let them know that
Hello. Oh. These words are actually for our online audience. If you can hear me in-house, don't worry about it. Thank you guys for watching our Twitch stream today. It's been an incredible day so far. And I say so far because we're not done yet. While this may be the end of today's Twitch stream, if you're a local listening in, you still have a solid, looking at my clock, more than 3 hours of this event left. So if you still want to come down and check out any of our amazing vendors, our indie game developers, or even catch the UBCP actors before they head out for the day, you've got time. For now, though, we will be raiding out to someone, some lucky whoever is online right now. Dun 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 dun.